Going live. Going live. Going live. Going live. You're live.
We're here. We did it.
Hello. Welcome to Two Guys Talk Tech. It is the 6th of January 2024. And we've decided to put a date marker at the beginning of the streams, just so people have context for when these things were done.
Absolutely.
It is January, my dudes.
Yes. How has your first week of January been?
Very good, actually. Yeah. I was looking forward to January, but also dreading it in equal measure because there was last year was a bit Jamie Oliver for me. That's a euphemism for saying it was a bit shit. Yeah, last year was a bit Jamie Oliver for me, and a lot of that came down to being just completely backlogged, behind schedule, and stressed out of my brain kind of thing.
Yes.
And so I was looking forward to January because I knew that I was going to clear everything out for Christmas and get a fresh start in January.
Good.
But at the same time, I was dreading January because I was afraid that, because the reason why I've been backlogged is that last January, in the first week, like 20 computers came in within the first 48 hours, and that was it. I was just behind schedule for the rest of the year kind of thing. And I was just afraid that the same thing was going to happen. And even though I sort of, I was being very mindful of that, and I was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're only going to allow X number of computers in before I say, I'm fully booked, come back next week kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've not had to turn anyone away. Like, I was actually open for a good hour and a half on Tuesday morning before anyone came in at all.
Good.
And I was so it actually just, I had time to come in, sit down, have a coffee, start the new ticket list and be like, good, we're ready to go,
Excellent.
And yeah, there's a few holdouts, like there's a couple of mail-ins that have been in since last year that need to be sent off and stuff like that. But they're pretty much everything, pretty much all of the holdouts are done. I just need to contact the client and say, it's done, I'm sending it back, or we couldn't fix it, it's coming back kind of thing. Suffice to say, like the actual legwork has been done. I just need to do the admin on it. And so as such, this week I've been fixing laptops that came in this week.
It's good.
And I'm like, gosh, and just,
Yes.
I'm just,
I think we need to just change the microphone levels just because obviously the device is a different device.
yes.
And we are cross-talking.
Okay, yeah. Do we...
We need gain in OBS and to drop the Windows volume.
Okay, right. So yes.
But also, hello, Psy-Up a ladder.
And yes, hello everyone. Okay, right. Filters. Right, so more gain in OBS, less gain in Windows, did you say?
Yeah, I think we just need to nudge that up a touch just so we're high.
That. Right.
Yeah.
One of them. Whoop. One of them.
And then to, just double check what Windows is doing.
That's the wrong thing.
Hold on.
Why did Windows Update come? Whatever.
Because I had Windows Update open just to make sure it wasn't pending an update and being like...
that's already at 45. I'll bring it down a little bit further.
yeah.
Bring that down to 40.
That's fine.
Okay, right. Now I'm speaking at a normal volume, and there's always going to be a little bit of echo. It's just unavoidable. This is... this is not
solved just because the device swapped as well. We'll need to double check all of it. But
basically, when you watch other people doing podcasts, there's a reason why they have a microphone here. Basically, that's how you solve this problem. I don't really want to do that. So, although that much being said, we should. I think we should consider moving back to a. At the very least, if we're not going to be walking around a lot, I think we should consider moving back to a condenser setup. Because
we certainly can do.
Yeah, because we did get better sound out of that. It's just, if we're doing something that involves us standing and walking around a lot, these are much better because we can walk away from the desk and look around and still be heard.
Yeah.
However, if we're just going to be sitting at the table, the condenser is better.
Yeah, we can certainly set something up for that though, because it is possible just to obviously place it here-ish. Isn't too much of a problem.
Yeah, still on the quiet side. Yeah, it is a bit quiet on the mixer. Yeah, hang on a minute. Yeah, I'll boost this up a bit more. But yeah, like this is not solvable basically, not without a massive change in not without fundamental changes. But I can bring the volume up a little bit. Now we got 18 decibels in that though. We need to. I think next week before we go live, I think we need to actually sound check from scratch.
Yeah, we certainly can do.
Yeah. Also, just like switch to a compressor and try setting that up from scratch and just see if we end up with a better result. Because, yeah, we have 18 decibels of gain dialed in OBS, which is ridiculous. That's absolutely yeah.
I mean, that's not that much. It depends on what you're kind of looking at. Just because obviously, like on a condenser microphone, those by default you're running somewhere between 40 and 75 decibels a gain.
Yeah, that's done. And that's mostly done in mic though, or within the microphone output.
In the chain, but but you're still running, huge amounts of gain. The amount of gain doesn't overly matter. It's what the start quality is, the processing quality is, and so on. If that makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough.
If that makes sense. The reason why applying gain is bad is because most systems applying gain are low quality.
Yeah.
And because most of them have a low SNR to start with.
Yeah.
But if you've actually got a high SNR and you're just expanding that effectively.
Yeah. I think you do need to swap your microphone to your left lapel instead of your right lapel.
If you mute me.
Yeah. Hang on a sec. Okay.
I forgot I'd stuck it on.
Yeah. Because that I think that's why you're coming in quiet, is because you're turning away from your mic to speak to me.
There we go.
There we go.
Cool.
Yeah, there we go. So you should be louder as well now. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. What is the current level of audio echo annoyance? Already too high, but yeah. Anyway, single mic on desktop, wired, no battery to faffle. It depends what you're doing. Yeah. Having a wired microphone when you need to walk around on a live show is not very helpful. So yeah. Also, especially because if we're doing something noisy on the desk and we have a condenser microphone, the condenser microphone is going to pick up every bang and knock and clatter on the desk and stuff like that. And
I think
we can filter some of that out as well, but also we can then part of the solution to that is to have the mic elevated, but then we have to have the mic in the middle of the frame as well, and things like that. It's just every alternative setup has its own downsides.
I think
that's the difficulty.
Other option is looking at what effectively you can do for kind of long range microphones effectively, because obviously but that doesn't work when we're changing our angle.
Yeah,
because if we're looking down, working on something, so we're stood up and looking down on something, that won't work for microphones over there.
Yeah,
which is why for when we're active, it's a case of these are what's basically necessary. When we're just sat here like this, something like that could work. Because obviously we're reasonably static and we could just place something that covers here and that'll be fine because we're not looking down at anything, we're not turning or anything.
Yeah. Plug in a lav mic to each one. I mean, these are lav mics effectively, Like I could put my one up higher, closer to my mouth to increase its pickup, so to speak. So that would help a little bit as well. The reason why I tend to have it lower is if I have it lower, it becomes a bit less sensitive to me looking around. And also, I've got the beard problem. If I have it high up, because I was putting mine higher up to solve this problem, and then people complained that my beard was brushing the mic.
Yeah.
So yeah, just not a winnable situation. So yeah. Put the mic under your clothes and the echo goes away. Well, that much being said, people were saying that I was echoing in Caradog's mic. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who's got mine exposed. So.
Clip the microphone to the beard. Yes, just wear the microphone in the beard.
What? Let's do it. Let's test it. It works surprisingly well. I'm going to be too hot now, aren't I?
Yeah, a bit.
I'm going to bring my volume down. Okay, how's that? There we go. We're doing this now.
I think the echo will probably be slightly worse.
Well, no. Well, I suppose you might echo into mine,
because
but
it's pointing straight at me.
Dunno. We'll find out.
But yeah, I don't know.
We'll find out. This is yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that this is comfortable, but it's functional. All right. Solved.
Yes.
So yeah.
Solved in the same way as hot glowing hinge mounts is solved.
Is it really silly if it works? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Clipping a microphone to your beard is silly.
It's still silly.
Yes.
It might not be stupid because
Yeah.
it works, but it can still be silly.
Yes. Anyway, so my first week of January has been pretty good. Also, by the way, I apologise if there's any seat creak. The stool that I'm sitting on has failed. The welds on it have failed, so it is creaking, and I'm going to replace it. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, so my first week of January has been pretty good as far as I'm concerned. I was about to ask you how you're... Are you
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So how was your
I just
first
realised
week
that it slipped down in the shirt, and I was just like, we're now getting chest noises.
back? I see.
Yes. First week was good. Tuesday was the least over the top first day back at work that I think I've ever had. In the sense that there was a lot of inquiries, but it was not that much more than normal, if that makes sense. So everything was very
Yeah.
easily wrapped up by 5. And it was just a case of, it was the first time in ages that I can remember that actually just leaving at 5 on the first
Yes.
working day of the year.
Yeah,
So,
I was expecting my Tuesday back to be just dreadful, but yeah, as I say, by the end of Tuesday, I too was just like, yeah, it's the end of the day, and I'm just done, and I'm going home. Yeah. So yes, very relieving. So yeah. Yeah. Moving the base doesn't change anything. That's not how radio transmission works. Like the base is there. It's just past the monitor. Like we're at point blank range kind of thing. So yeah. So yes. Anyway. Was too close. Yeah. We have tried the base at various distances. It used to be over there. It used to be further away. Now it's closer. The distance doesn't change it. The echo is caused because we have 2 microphones that are right next to each other. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Right. Anyway. So moving on. Yeah. So that was that. So past that, it is a new year. But today we thought we'd so yeah, anyway, today we're going to chat about prices of PC parts and stuff like that. This came on because I can feel it wagging around when I speak. I'm sort
Do you wish to move it?
I mean, it's fine. I'm going to commit to the bit, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway.
Very well.
Apparently, I sound like a Cyberman. Do I sound that terrible, or yeah? I mean, I might still be. It doesn't look like I'm clipping or anything. I don't know. Anyway, right, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this came by on. When did you drop by? Was it on Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Thursday evening. Yeah. So yes, storage drive prices are up there. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to mention. Yeah, SSD prices have kind of gone oop, and we're like, oh, now yeah, and we're sort of, and that kind of brought on the question of like, oh, what else has changed now? So what we figured we'd do is we do a good old let's spec up some PCs for fun and just see what prices are like right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I vote we do is we get ourselves a spreadsheet and do a minimum viable brand new, mid-range and high-end. Yeah, we look at what prices are doing right now, basically.
Yeah, I'd imagine the high-end, effectively you won't see much of a difference.
I don't think so, no.
Because it's always a case of, other than just the fact of obviously the 4090's gone up by £400 to £600 in price.
Yeah. I think
that's also kind of known.
Yeah, I think minimum viable brand new might be looking very attractive right now because there'll actually be some graphics cards that can sneak into that category that don't suck, basically. So, like, the minimum viable will actually be a matter of this is an actual PC that you might actually want to buy instead of this is theoretically a new PC, but you shouldn't buy this. You should buy second hand and get something better. Yeah. This is actually a brand new minimum viable PC that would actually makes sense to buy now, you know. Although I'm very curious, I'm going to be curious as to see what graphics cards are doing and whether we're still looking at sort of previous gen graphics cards, because like this is my problem. It's no secret that the current gen graphics cards are not so much they're lemons, but they're damp flannels. They're not meaningfully better than last gen, so no one really cares about them. So everyone's been being like, no, buy last gen. However, no one's making last gen graphics cards. They're going to go out of stock. At some point, we're going to have to buy new gen graphics cards. So I'm kind of curious as to if this is the year when that starts happening.
Yeah, I was going to say it's...
Oh, it's the heater.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes.
As I think we're not really going to see much of that with regards to kind of the current product releases, you know, the 7000 series from AMD and the 4000 series from Nvidia, just because the expectation is to see what is presumably going to be called the 4000s, the 8000 series and the 5000 series at the end of this year. So the expectation is that they're going to come in Q4 this year. So just kind of a case of I don't really think we're going to see much in that.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a case of we'll see kind of, we won't see that above anything but the bottom rung and a half.
Yeah, Mike's pointing out that with the new 40 series supercards about to drop, we're probably going to see price drops on the 40 series. So we might be jumping the gun a bit, and there's a possibility that a lot of what we say today might suddenly be out of date next week. But yeah. The comment as well, though, is the fact that apparently Nvidia is intentionally keeping incredibly minuscule stock of the new supercards, so they can say that they exist and the prices are there and that people have been able to buy them, but they aren't actually in stock. Yeah. Almost nothing is beyond the realm of belief now. Yeah. You know, that's kind of the frustrating
thing. It's what
thing.
They've been doing with the 4090 since launch. They've been very much keeping that functionally out of stock.
Yeah.
In an awful lot of places for an awful lot of the time, so the price doesn't drop off.
I was about to say, is that why the price has gone up on it, just because it's stayed rare?
And then the price has gone up just because every single one that was in existence and hadn't been sold was shipped to China before they were banned from sale in China.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a case of, because there's a complete lack of supply through the chain, any that exist in other markets, the price has gone up.
Yeah. Have the spreadsheet from 2 to 3 months good for compare? Not really. I don't really care what stuff was doing a couple of months ago, really. Well, maybe we'll see. Yeah. At any rate, yeah, let's start looking. Right. You have a laptop in front of you, so
Indeed.
let's do it.
Absolutely. I came prepared.
I knew you would,
Yes.
but you've come.
I mean,
Good.
one of us has to be.
Yeah. Prices are not up normally. Yeah, like, part of me is wondering how much of this is prices going up after sale, but, like, what happened to the January sales, you know? We had, like, there was obviously the increase and then the drop down to normal prices for Black Friday, but then some prices have just gone back up again. It's like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah. And to a degree, I expect it to go back up because of it no longer being Black Friday, but also a case of I don't expect it to go up that much.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I seem to remember that there were rumours of, with storage costs, there were rumours that NAND was going up in price this year anyway, I think. If my memory serves me.
It depends on how the issue, kind of with the purchase to production volume. This is the reason why we were seeing month-on-month reduction in NAND prices, was the fact that NAND is one of those few commodities where it's better to keep overproducing
Yeah.
and produce at a loss than it is to stop producing.
Yeah.
It's one of the weird things in the computer market where it's better to produce something and sell it at a loss than it is to stop producing it, because the stopping production is greater than the cost of producing it and selling it at a loss.
Yeah.
Because the cost of production and selling it at a loss is, say, 5%,
Yeah.
you know, but the cost of stopping the entire line.
And then waiting for the line to ramp back up again.
Yeah, and also the cost of the fact if you have to go through and recalibrate everything, you have to reset everything up, you have to read this, read that, and so on and so forth.
Fabrication is cray-cray, yo.
Yeah, it's a case of it ends up being effectively better value to sell at a loss. Or to sell into oversupply. So yeah.
Okay, right. Get that HDMI plugged in and we'll get a thing on screen so we can perceive.
Indeed.
Losses are tax write-offs too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I can't help with a stolen mobile, I'm afraid. Don't know where to start with that. Yeah. Has Android got... Android has some kind of track my phone thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically it's a case of track it through your Google account, track it through your Samsung account.
Yeah. If you
can't do either of those things, report it to the police.
Yeah, that's it. There's not a lot we can do about that, though, I'm afraid. So, yeah. Yep. Okay, right. Capture with face. Ava Media. That is on the wrong thing because I was doing stuff. Pow.
There you go.
Pow. Right, where do we want to be? I'll put us in the bottom right. Oh, it's doing the thing.
Yeah, it's the USB cable. We already answered this question. It was the USB cable.
Okay, I'm going to grab a different USB cable.
Yes.
Da, 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 da. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we put a USB cable on that we didn't trust because we wanted to answer that question, didn't we? Yes, and it's that one. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I don't know if this is actually a data cable or not, so we're about to find out.
We were using the, that long 2-meter one that I had.
Yes.
That had an adapter on one end. Those ones. The China Specials.
Yes.
And they were fine.
Yes.
And yeah, that's what we used last time.
Yeah, we've moved back to this one as a blind check. Yep. Okay. Stand by. Yep. It's mainly just because the behaviour had changed in that it was going black instead of freezing, whereas previously it was freezing up. So yeah, that's good for charge only then. I don't know if this one might be a charge. I think this one might be a charge only, but I'm going to find out. It's one of those ones with the built-in watt meters on it.
How many watts does your HDMI capture device use?
We'll find out.
At the bottom.
Ooh. Right. There we go.
Dun 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 dun. Oh well, it's powered up at least
Yeah.
because
It uses 3 watts at idle, at least.
of which 2.9 is RGB.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Hey.
We have a picture.
Huzzah. Well, that'll do at any rate.
We shall see.
No.
No, it won't.
I'm going to switch back. Right now, I'm just going to switch to the cam link, just to make
Yeah.
just for something that works.
Is it over there?
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
good.
However, we'll need a longer HDMI cable, so stand by. Bang.
You ate all of them.
Yeah, wasn't there a?
There was a 2-meter one plugged into the capture card for capturing things.
Well, there's a 2-meter one down here now, and I refuse to elaborate where this one came from. Please take a different HDMI cable. This is why I don't like tie anything in, because stuff has to move around. It do be that way sometimes. Okay. Whoop. Third time's the charm.
Okay.
Oof. When it faded to black for a moment there. Yeah, you're on extend now. Good. All right, there we go. Right.
Of course there's no maximize.
It's a Mac. You don't need to maximize.
How do I... Oh. I wish to disable the mirroring.
Go to arrangement, I think.
Ah, yes, there you go. Or enable the mirroring even.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Now we're just on. Oh, how's that? That's probably. What on earth has happened? Oh, it's at 4K. That's why. Transform fit to screen. Bam. There we go. And as aforementioned, I will move us over to there.
Good. How do I... How do I close this now?
You don't. You move that one away, and then you just go somewhere else in system preferences.
Okay. Be gone.
All right.
Excellent.
Good. Okay then. Right. And probably zoom in a bit as well.
Oh, have we scaled really awkwardly on the page?
Well, also it's just yeah, you're at normal scaling, and you know a lot of people probably aren't watching full screen. Just it makes the text more readable. So yeah, good. Okay.
Actually. Yes. We will speak whilst I. Whoops. Is there a minimum font size? There we go.
Ah.
There
Ooh.
we go.
Interesting.
Because now I can reduce the scaling, so white space is smaller, but font is bigger. So the font is ended up at the same size, but
Yes.
the white space is smaller.
Yes, I support this. As long yeah. Does
We'll
that
see what
that might break certain elements, but yeah. Oh, I'll see how it goes. Anyway, right, let's do it. Okay, so
I think inversely, the starting point is cases, because if we're looking to sell these computers, then they have different requirements for if you're building them for yourself.
yeah, sure. Okay, let's have a look around at what cases are about at the moment first. Then
Yeah, and I'm
So-
literally going to go.
before the first case I want to look at
Sort by price.
is what's the state of the Fantex P400A right now? Did it get refreshed at the end of last year? Because I think it did, but I want to know
Did
if
it?
it actually got refreshed. I'm not sure, and I want to know because I like the Fantex P400A, but the old version of it was really old tooling, and I was trying to avoid it because it was very old tooling. But if it actually got a decent refresh,
There is the new Eclipse series P400A, is what it says here.
yeah. See, it was an Eclipse already.
Will you be able to tell by looking at a picture?
Is there a picture of the top thing? Because like seeing a picture of the power button would probably give it away.
There is the power button.
Oh, yeah. Can't tell.
I don't know.
Yeah, does
I'll
anyone
see
know?
what's on PC Part Picker.
Yeah,
for
anyone in the
400.
chat know if the Fantex got a
There's one
the
called
P400?
Digital.
Yeah, see that's just whether it's that's just RGB
Yeah, that's
basically.
purely RGB.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah. Because again, the P400 it's still reasonably priced. Yeah, you know, like looking at those prices, the non-RGB version is £76. The RGB version was like 85. 85 quid for a case that comes with 3 RGB fans is pretty respectable, I think. You know.
Oh, wasn't it the
What's that?
G500A?
Oh, G500A, yeah.
Was that the one that they released recently?
Yeah,
by
that,
recently, I
that
mean last
might
year.
be an update to the P500. I'm
Or
not
the
sure I like the look of
NV?
that. I thought that, yeah. Oh my god. It's the Simpsons Captain Janeway joke. Oh, Captain Janeway. There's an episode where a comic book guy is downloading saucy images, but his internet is going very slowly, so it's just sort of slowly revealing a picture
Oh.
of Captain Janeway.
Oh no, I think these are the ones which are effectively front glass side intake.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think
Yes.
I think this Meta is known as dual chamber design, even though it's not really a dual chamber case.
Yes.
But yeah, they're the current new Meta, so I'm not surprised they've released one.
Evolve Shift Mesh.
Yeah, Eclipse is the only one I care about, really.
What
Every-
is this website?
Yeah, I was going to say the Fantex website looks like it's garbage. It's not our internet, guys. It's the Fantex website.
Evolve Shift Air.
Yeah, these are all
No?
the these are all
Okay.
the weird oddball ones.
No, fine.
Yeah,
Dunno.
The Eclipse series is the series for normal people, which is what I care about. PSU Shroud equals dual chamber. I guess technically, but not in the way that anyone intends it to. Dual chamber would mean that there's you remember the old super wide boy cases where you've got the actual main case and there's like an area wide enough for the power supply on the side of the case. That's dual chamber, because the idea is you have a second physical chamber that is big enough to put all of
Oh.
the power supply and drives into, leaving space for the computer on the
Oh.
main side of it.
Eclipse G300A.
Yeah, that's the baby one, which is still a nice case,
Yeah.
but you won't fit a monster graphics card in it though, which is the drawback.
Yeah. I don't know what the. Yeah, it's 40 centimeters by 20 centimeters by
Yeah,
by 460 centimeters. No,
yeah,
by
like-
46.
it's comparable to a Corsair 220T.
Yeah. Apparently, it'll take a 365mm long graphics card.
I could believe. Oh, that sounds a bit adventurous actually, because I was going to say if you don't have a front mount rad in it, sure. Although the other thing as well, because the problem is with the Corsair 220T, it can fit a modest sized graphics card in it without a front mount rad, but you can't really top mount the radiator in a 220T, unless the motherboard, not without not without a specific motherboard that has low VRM heatsinks and low mounted DIMM slots and stuff like that. So therefore, you had to make certain concessions if you wanted to fit in a larger graphics card. 360mm total length though, that's quite long. So I think it might be a little bit deeper than a 220T is in that case.
Yeah.
And I thought the P300 was the baby one. So
It's the mid tower,
yeah.
and then
Yeah,
this is the G360.
Oh, I tell you what, I think that's the replacement for the P400. And in which case, I kind of support that because a lot of mid towers are deeper than they need to be. So that sounds like a compromise between the baby one and the P400.
Yeah, this is the G360A, which is 400mm supposed maximum video card length
Yeah.
and 455mm deep.
Apparently I sound like I'm sitting in an empty barrel. What does that sound like?
Echoing, reverberatory.
Yeah.
So, do you have a measuring device that will measure, 500 mils?
Let me see if I can find the tape measure.
Because if you do, that will be,
Yeah, I'm also going to move my microphone in a minute because I've done.
Is it annoying?
Yes.
Yes.
It was very funny. Now I'm getting bored of it.
Very well.
Ah.
Do I now sound like I'm in a barrel? Excellent. So,
Shall I grab a Corsair? I don't. Yeah. Oh no, we have got a 220T over here.
450 milliliters? This is 450 milliliters. So, I'm just walking off, don't mind me.
A minute. I'm bringing over a 220T.
Oh, interesting. 450 is actually slightly smaller than I thought it was. There you go. Dun 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 dun. Right,
This is a bucket.
that's what 450 is compared to.
Yeah. So
It's
this is a Corsair 220T. This is about as small as you can go for ATX. So this is a very compact ATX case.
there you go. And this was. Yes, this is 455, which makes it this. Oh god, what are we looking at? The Fantex A360G something. The G360A is this big, and the G360 is that big. So yes, the G360 is 10 mil, functionally bigger. Yes. And also, certainly based off of the pictures, yes, I agree with the idea that you'd be able to top mount reasonably easily because the mounting is offset.
Right. Sorry, I'm back. I was readjusting my microphone. Yes. So the offset. That's the reason why I'm interested in why I'm interested in Fantex refreshing their case line, because the biggest problem with the P400A is the top rails are not offset because it's really old tooling, which is why I don't like. I love the design of it, but the tooling is ancient. So yeah. So the G360, that looks like a slightly larger version of the 220T. It sounds like the 220T, but not a pain in the ass. Because
Somehow it's narrower.
not convinced about that.
By a shocking and unimpressive millimetre.
Oh, yeah, that's
But-
fine then. Yeah, that's irrelevant then. Yeah. Yeah,
No,
I was going
wait.
to say if it.
By 5 millimetres, sorry. Half a centimetre narrower.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
don't
that's
really
a bit
wanna-
much.
Yeah, you don't really want to go narrower.
Because
You can get away with it.
how much space is there to the glass on that GPU cable?
Yeah, not a huge amount. That's why I say that.
Yeah.
You know.
Ooh.
So yeah.
I'm not
Yes.
sure how I feel
Oh
about
my
it.
god,
going
I can't
narrow.
believe we're going to go through this again, everyone. The echo is because we're standing next to each other, so the microphones both microphones will pick up our voices. This cannot be solved because whatever. So yes,
I'm not going to put my watch on my hard drive. Just in case.
yes.
But yes, this is £85.
Doesn't happen with Caradog because he has a completely different profile of voice to me.
MV. Yeah, based off of pricing and what we're seeing on here, it does look like it would be the 360A.
Yeah.
Or maybe an S? Or is the S the solid front one? No, I think it's the solid front one. Yeah, and then if you wanted something that was a smidgen smaller, you've got this. which is 400 by 200.
200 by 465 tall, so yeah, 400 mil deep, yeah.
Yeah, 400 mil is that.
Oh, so where did the 360 come to then?
What do you mean the 360?
The G360?
The 360 comes to there.
Oh, yeah.
The 360 is there.
Yeah.
The 300 is
Okay.
there.
Yeah. So so
And-
if you're building mid-range, if you're building low or mid-range,
And it's here for height, so it's a smidgen taller, which hopefully means it's
Yeah.
at the top of the motherboard tray. They've put the space.
I'd go for the G360 because I think it's slightly bigger, but it's not like I don't think the G300 is small enough to be worth the concessions that you'd make on it.
I'd save the 20 quid because this is 65
20
pound
quid,
and that's
yeah.
85 pound.
Oh yeah,
I'd
that's
save
a fair
the 20
point.
quid
Yeah,
because then that covers off half of the cost of the SSDs going up,
yeah,
effectively.
yes. Yeah, that's fair. So on the low end case, cheaper option would be better, and then yeah, you
But
go up to the
to me,
G360 if you need to get more. Yeah, if you need the extra space, then you go up to a bigger case. Yeah, well that makes the G300 very attractive for an entry to mid range case then.
Oh, a mesh side panel. What? Oh, I see. These ones. Yeah.
Sleepwalker, don't ask to ask, just ask the question, and if I know the answer, I can answer.
There is no filter to choose if it's got mesh front, so you just have to scroll.
Yeah.
Oh.
That much being said, that G300, like at 65, I think you're going to struggle to find something better than that in any meaningful way.
I'm looking for something that's better because it's cheaper.
Yeah,
Because I'm looking to build a computer for the lowest possible price.
this is true. Yeah.
CIT Flash.
No.
Let's see how awful that
Oh,
is.
biscuit tin time. Yeah.
But yeah, but we're also trying to build the cheapest possible
True.
computer.
True. Yeah. 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 Doodleicious is saying check out Montech, and yeah, I think Montech are good for minimum viable product. I was a little
that's
bit
the
disappointed
Montech
with the
one,
build
isn't it?
quality of Montech when I looked at their cases. But if you're looking at cases that are costing about 50 quid, 40 or 50 quid, then yes, I think they are probably a good option.
Oh, that's micro ATX still. ATX mid tower. Oh, there you go.
Doo-doo-doo.
How does this look? Yeah, that is
Yeah,
one case.
see, I think that's a nice looking case personally. I think that's realistically as cheap as you're going to go without getting a biscuit tin that you don't actually want to sell, basically.
That looks okay. How much are we talking for this? 50 quid from Scan.
Yeah.
With free shipping. Excellent.
Yeah, that's it. As Yates said, it's one thing to look for the cheapest build, but would you be happy supplying it? And that's
I
the
don't
thing.
know. That's what we're going to find out.
Yeah, that's the problem, because it's easy to just order by lowest price first, but that's not necessarily going to be something you actually want to buy.
No, but isn't that kind of the conversation?
True, yeah.
That's what we're looking
yeah,
at.
definitely worth considering these things, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the fact of obviously it needs to be something that comes with RGB because that instantly takes £500 out of the budget.
Yeah.
Where's the side selector? Side? Size. There you go. ATX. 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 There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Sleepwalker, that's some weird issue with the charging chip in the Latitude there. It's a very common fault with those. Wouldn't be able to tell you any solutions off the top of my head. That's a rabbit hole problem you've got there. So, as unhelpful as it is, pass, I'm not sure. There's definitely something
yeah.
funny going on with the charger chip, with the power management chip though.
Was this the one I was thinking of? No, no, it's not. Oh, interesting. But yeah, the Antec AX20. It has
How much?
some degree of ventilation at the front, and it's
40 quid?
£45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, plus shipping, so, you know,
Yeah,
£45.
it's £45.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's not too shabby.
Yeah, let's have a look at it on scan. Scan. I will accept all of your cookies. There you go. Zoom, enhance. Zoom, enhance.
No. P.S. I really hate
Zoom
websites like this
enhance.
that just won't give you a
Okay.
big picture. It's so frustrating.
Fine. That looks like it would build a modern computer.
Mm.
It doesn't look like...
Apparently the AX20 fans are fixed RGB and no RPM control.
Interesting.
God, what is it? Just 12-volt supply to them?
I mean, you can just... Yeah. If they're 3-pin fans... If they're 3-pin fans, you'd just voltage control, wouldn't you?
Chris, I'm going to shank you. Anyway, Molex. No.
Excuse me?
No, I refuse.
Excuse me?
No. No.
However, if it is actually 40 quid, I don't know.
Yeah, but again, you wouldn't want to supply a computer
If it comes with
something like
Molex, though, absolutely not.
that. Yeah.
If they're just standard 3-pin fans, then that's fine.
Yeah. And also, just like fixed RGB as well is kind of naff. I mean,
I mean, it's
again,
absolutely fine for anyone under the age of 15.
yeah.
So that's all they're going to set it to anyway.
Yeah, I guess the question is this a computer that we're saying this is a computer that you, the viewer, could build, or are we saying this is a computer that we would build and sell in here, for example?
One that would
And-
actually be able to get sold in here.
Yeah, but also like I wouldn't want to sell one like that because every time it comes back in for maintenance, I'd look at that case and be like, oh, I feel kind of dirty having sold this case.
That's
Because
45
whenever
grand, and
whenever
then
other people bring in
50 quid.
minimum viable cases and they come in and they're built in these cheap Chinese cases with the crappiest fans in and like the fans up against front glass and stuff like that, and you're like, ew, what is this case and stuff like that.
I think I'm going to go with the Montec X3, which is this one. Oh, I didn't mean to click on that. But there, that'll do. Disease. But yes, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. Leanne Lee, do you mean 215 or 2015?
Because the 215 is more expensive than 50 quid, so
Yeah, I was going to say. 'cause if
therefore it is not viable.
Yeah, I was going to say Leanne Lee's going to be too expensive. We'll probably be looking at that for higher end ones,
Yeah.
but
Anything over £50
Yeah.
is not viable
yeah,
for what we're looking at the moment.
yeah, that's fair. Because also, no, that's reasonable because for the kind of budget that we're going to be aiming for minimum viable, saving a tenner here and a tenner there is going to add up by the end of
Yeah.
the build. So yeah,
Where's
read above. It's 50 quid apparently.
Not according to PC Part Picker.
Not
And
according
that's
to
the
PC
prices-
Part Picker,
That's
apparently.
the prices that
Yeah.
are there. So yeah, Raptor Lake, Old Lake, Zen 4, Zen 3.
The link? What link where?
Cheapest first.
Say it again, basically. If it, I don't see a link in the chat. Posting links in a live chat isn't going to work. That stuff gets shot by anti-spam.
12100F is
Just tell me where you're looking. Yeah, like
90 quid.
in a live chat, it's really unhelpful to say read my previous message. Just say the thing again, basically. So.
I think.
Have you heard about Paul Daniels? He's not. Yeah, Paul Daniels streamed this week. Yeah, Paul's still about. He was live this week.
Wasn't he live twice this week?
Possibly twice, at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Paul's back. He's just been busy.
He also did a couple of YouTube shorts. Shorts. Nothing to do with shorts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ions Kuro. Is that a shop? What?
Right,
I
1200.
think we're going with the Montec at the moment. All right. So,
Cheapest.
what CPU did you go for there?
12100F.
1200.
Because it's literally the cheapest out of
Yeah.
12th, 13th, 14th gen, or Ryzen
Yeah.
or AM4, AM5.
Yeah, and the 12100F is not too shabby as a
Yeah.
gaming CPU.
I will look at the total price and see if we can shuffle up from the 12100F in the end,
but
basically.
we'll start at the 12100.
Just
yeah.
because I'd like to get 2 more cores.
Yeah.
So yeah. And we are not having an H610 motherboard.
Yeah.
B760. Oh, there we go. Done. Not that one. Probably that one.
I see.
No, just because I realised I clicked on like the version 1 board.
Oh,
and
I
then there's
see,
the
yeah,
version
there's
2
a
board.
D4 there. Yeah.
Yeah.
For another £4. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, this is like the upgrade version 1.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking between these ones and being like, which ones of these are the least visually inoffensive?
Yeah.
Oh, that one's got some RGB on it, apparently.
Yeah, I'd definitely say we'd probably definitely want to go with a B series chipset rather than a H series chipset, because there's a couple of H's mixed in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
just
if you drop to a H series chips, especially because the prices are pretty tightly grouped on these boards.
yeah, no, we're too expensive for what those are. Right, quickly scanning through that. That's all HX10, 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 B7, HDVM.2. Let's go with this. Choose RAM. That's DDR4. I'm going to go scroll.
Can we go? What's the cheapest DDR5 motherboard?
Don't know, but we'll look at that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because I was going to do basically a comparison in a
Yeah,
second.
that's fair. Yeah, because obviously, like, it'd be really nice if we can not do a 2024 build with DDR4.
But also at the same time, it's an i3.
Yes, but just
So-
but also just simply because future upgrading and such like that, especially because most boards that we fit will be able to take a 13th gen or a 14th gen. So like we kind of want. Oh, that much being said, though, this is the problem with building Intel. I was about to say it'd be nice if the customer has the option of dropping an i7 in there later on down the line, but now if you're trying to make that an option, it means you need a motherboard that can actually put 300 watts into the chip now. So,
How much is it to go up to 3600? 20? Excuse me? 3618 is £41.
Chris says he'd take a H770 over a B760. Why so, Chris?
That's 40.
Is there that much of a difference to them?
That's £42. That's 6 quid. Yeah, I'll do that for 6 quid. So basically, we're looking at that collection of parts being £276.
276. Okay.
Yes.
Which is hidden on screen, but 276.
That's-
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
fine. Oh yeah, yeah, cool. Okay.
And then if we swap that and that.
So yeah, I'm going to quickly notepad that. Notepad. So 276 for the DDR4 build.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we'll just see what that looks like if we go to a DDR5, just because DDR5 actually gives us an upgrade path, or a meaningful upgrade path at least. Why not Ryzen 5500?
Because the 12100F is cheaper and faster.
Yeah, that basically. I'm not. Yeah, Ryzen 5000 series is a bit Ryzen APU is a bit squicky. There's pros and cons to it, but yeah, certainly when we get to the mid and the high end builds, I think we're almost certainly going to end up on
That's
Ryzen.
shockingly not awful. Is it
770
round
just gives
kit?
better I/O, especially on the budget boards. Has better support in previous gens because Intel's done some funky stuff. Yeah, fair enough.
What's this? What's the 770?
Chris is arguing H770 in preference to a B760.
I thought
motherboards.
interesting. I thought the B ones were the higher
That's what I thought.
end ones.
Yeah, but apparently a newer H series is better than an older B series, is the implication here. So yeah, once we've established whether DDR5 is viable or not, it might be worth taking a slightly closer look at that, just to because again, it might be a case of a £2 difference and it gives you an extra 2 USB ports or something.
Yeah.
So yeah. What's the going rate of
that's
a
literally £1.
5500 right now? How much is our CPU?
There you go. £89.
Yeah,
£90.
quid. Okay, hang on a sec. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna quickly have a look at a Ryzen 5500 just out of interest. People were talking about that in the Discord today, but I wasn't really paying attention. Ryzen 5500 is also £90.
Oh, interesting. Oh, it's £90. Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah,
don't.
it's slower than a 12100.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't imagine a world where an APU is faster
It's not
than
an
an
APU.
i3, isn't it?
No, because it doesn't have a G.
I suppose yes.
The
Yeah.
APUs are the 5600G,
Oh, yeah.
5700G.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It is
It's-
6-core 12 thread, which
Yeah,
isn't
it's just
shabby
got
either. Yeah.
half the cache.
I was
of
gonna
the
say that-
5600.
Yeah, the 90 meg cache is not particularly inspiring. But what's
Also,
the i3 got? 12100.
Well, it's more the fact that the Ryzen cares about the cache.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because I was going to say the i3 is only 12 megabyte cache.
Yeah, but if you benchmark it, the 12100 is faster.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
if that makes sense, the level of cache between the Intel and the Ryzen is irrelevant when the actual performance is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Gamers Nexus. Gamers Nexus looked at the 5500. I wonder.
Yeah, I think if you look at their website.
Oh,
they've
they
got-
have a Ryzen 5500 versus 1200F. Yeah, I'm just going to have a quick nosy at that while we're talking.
Yeah.
So I'm literally just going to scan through and just check the things, but 12100. So that's one win for Intel, 2 wins for Intel, 3 wins for Intel, 4 wins for Intel. The difference is very marginal. They're very close together, but okay, that's 1 for AMD.
No, that's a 3700X.
12100F,
Oh, yeah.
5500. Yeah. So they're very close, but the 12100F is a shade faster in basically every single test. They are very close though.
Yeah.
So
That's
like if you're
actually closer than
yeah, so they are very close. So it really does come down to motherboard options basically. If there were better motherboard choices for the AMD, then that would be the better choice, because the speeds are extremely comparable. However, if all else being equal, but also the 5500, you're going to be stuck on DDR4. So again, it comes down to whether DDR5 is viable, because
It's
you don't.
£332.
332, yeah.
For
so-
kind of what I would buy for DDR5.
Yeah, 330. So yeah, it's another 60 quid to go to DDR5.
And like
So
you
yeah,
could buy cheaper, slower DDR5, but it's a case of if you're buying cheaper, slow DDR5,
Then
then
why are you
that
buying
DDR5
yeah,
you
you
should
may
buy
as
the
well have gone-
DDR4.
yeah. So so the 5500 is equally viable in that case, because we're still talking about a DDR4 build. So it would come down to motherboard, I think.
Yeah.
If you could find if you had a good AMD motherboard lined up that was giving you a better price, or just simply if you just want to be Team Red, because people do have their preference. If you prefer AMD, then yeah, the 5500 would be viable.
Oh, interesting, £87.50. It's actually £2 cheaper.
Yeah. The 12100F being faster than the Ryzen 5500. This is coming from Gamers Nexus. So yeah, Gamers Nexus have a video of the 5500 versus the 12100F. So yeah, I'm looking at the charts on there. And yeah, the 12100F is a shade faster in most of the tests, but we are talking like 5%, 5% kind of thing. So it's like, it's not meaningfully faster. So, like it really is a pick the one you prefer kind of thing. There's not a meaningful difference between them.
Wait, what? Why does this thing exist?
An A520 Aorus Elite. What? Show me the big picture. I want to laugh at it. It's gaming.
What?
Can you get a? Yeah, hold on. I'm going to move us out of the way. I want to laugh at this. Oops. I'm moving us to the other side just so we're not in the way of things.
Oh God. Connectivity. It has a LAN port.
It's got 10100, yeah.
There we go. It has a DVI-D port, an HDMI port. Oh no, it is gigabit.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it would be. I was mostly
No.
joking,
It was
but
just
yeah.
the fact I looked at it. It was just like, wait, hold on a second. It has a PCIe 3 slot,
How much was this board?
like £88.
I mean, that's not terrible. If you're trying to build a cheap computer that looks nice, it does look nice.
It has got 4 USB 3.2 ports.
Ooh. Moving us up here now.
So yeah.
Can you get a view of the back I/O?
Yeah, I was just reading what the actual ports
Yeah.
were, just because the colouring on it made it look like they were USB 2 only.
Yeah. Realtek LAN. Yeah, we're not exactly picking and choosing good parts on a board of this kind of spec. Yeah, you get 8 ports there.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, 4 of them are USB 2, but again, this is an A520 motherboard, so beggars can't be choosers.
I'm amazed. I imagine this board's actually
That doesn't
interestingly niche.
That actually doesn't look terrible. If you're trying to build a cheap gaming PC, I actually think that's a good looking option.
You know what this would be really good for?
What?
Sticking a 5600G in.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
it's got HDMI and DVI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally put a 5600G in there
Yeah.
and you're done.
Yeah. I don't hate this motherboard as much as I thought
Actually,
I would.
how much would that be?
I was getting ready to have a good laugh at this thing, but I don't.
That's not bad.
Yeah, if it was over £100, I'd be like, no, absolutely not. All the no, hell no. But for 90 quid,
How much are we talking for a 5600G? Hold on. We're going to massively overspend on the RAM because it's a G,
okay,
and you need fast RAM because obviously your VRAM is the system RAM.
yeah. Although some guy just said, a person who is literally called some guy for the record, said limited to JDEC. If we're going on like an A520, is it going to be able to do fast RAM?
I can't remember. I'm 99% certain you can do memory overclocking on the Gigabyte ones
Okay, yeah, that's
because
fair.
they have some sort of weird hacky overclock
Yeah,
unlock. If I'm remembering correctly, because I remember Buildzoid doing a video on one of them.
yeah.
Or if you can't do memory overclocking, you should be able to enable XMP. Which is why I was looking at...
Yeah, well, as long as you can get to stock speeds, that's what we care, because, yeah, that's the problem. It's no good putting in 3600 if the board's going to top out at 3000 kind of thing is what I was concerned about. Although, really, that's going to come down to the CPU more than the board, I'd expect, isn't it?
None of
So,
those
yeah,
other
being a
options on there.
5000 series CPU, it shouldn't have too much trouble.
The 3617, that is £3. Yeah, we're going to go for that again, I think.
RAM is expensive. It's not too bad. We're still in the low 40s.
Oh, of course you're not going to tell me. Oh no, there you go. 18, 22, 22, 42.
CL18 at 3600. It's not inspiring, but it's not terrible though.
Kingston, are you going to give me a full spec list? Because you normally do
DDR5. No,
flat 17s.
we're looking at a
Wow,
Ryzen
you are
5500 at the moment, so we're DDR4.
Flat 17s. I
We
will
need to
take
go up to
you.
a Ryzen 7000 series for DDR5.
Flat 17s, absolutely. That's an actually weirdly good RAM kit.
Okay,
this
so
for
that's a
this.
5600G.
Yes, that's why I put.
Yeah,
That's what I just said.
Yep. I'm just sort of
Yeah.
reiterating.
5600G.
5600
That weird A520 board.
Yeah,
That slightly what I'll call over spec RAM, just because it is
Yeah.
like £3
So-
more than the cheapest, and we're at 295.
Yeah, like I actually think that's a better build than the 12100F, which was 276, because we're spending another 15 quid, but we're up to a 5600G, and
Don't
is it
forget, 5600G is functionally the same speed as a 5500.
okay, yeah,
They're functionally the same CPU cores.
righto, yeah, oh yeah, because the 5600G is also 6-core, yeah, the 5500.
No, I was thinking about
weird.
this, the 5600G PC, not putting a graphics card in it,
Oh,
and just
okay,
being like,
yeah.
how much is a 5600G PC with this weird A520 board? I'm
Yeah.
going on a complete tangent here.
Okay, yeah, that's
Don't
fine,
mind me.
yeah, because
I'm just like, what does this actually give you? What's the
Yeah.
kind of costing for this?
yeah, because I'm.
Because I'm just like, that motherboard suddenly makes it possible.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that the 5600G is kind of weird in that I don't think it makes sense as a gaming processor, like assuming built-in graphics. It's like you can game on it, but even a very cheap second-hand graphics card will demolish it. So it kind of just doesn't seem worthwhile. What it is good for is when someone needs not terrible integrated graphics that has some amount of, what I would call a multimedia graphics card kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
we are talking about this entire computer costing £400.
yeah, that's
Why
yeah.
I was suddenly just like, oh, you know what? For that thing where you're building it as kids' first PC,
That's a £500 brand new gaming PC.
and all they're playing is Roblox, maybe some Fortnite.
Yeah,
Fortnite?
unmodded Minecraft. Yeah,
Fort-
Fortnite. Yeah,
Fuck. Fortnite and equivalents.
yeah,
This is functional.
yeah.
And you could put in a cheap second-hand graphics card for them for their next birthday.
Yeah,
And you wouldn't feel dirty.
yeah.
Whereas you'd arguably feel a bit,
How much is the CPU again?
£113.
Yeah, 113. Yeah, so yeah, so
So
like,
it's £13 more on the CPU and like £2 more on the RAM and like £8 more on the
yeah.
motherboard.
So like, if you were selling this in the shop, this might be a better choice than the 13100F or the 5500, because you could build this, put it on the shelf as a £500 gaming PC, and the graphics card could effectively be an optional extra.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go with a 5500 or a 12100F, it has to have a graphics card in it, and
Yeah.
you're only saving about 15 quid to drop down to that lower spec CPU. So it's almost worth just getting the 5600G anyway, because then you have the option of selling it without a graphics card.
I think I would, if I was building it knowing I was putting a graphics card in it, I think I'd go for the
12100 non-F. Or
Hold
what's
on,
the cheapest i5?
I need to look at how much.
12400 or something.
12400. Oh, I have the compatibility doodad.
Yeah.
There you go. Because that's
5600
136. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting into price creep with that, I think.
Yeah, no, but I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
comparing.
Apparently, Gamers
yeah,
Nexus
no,
did a
that's
good
not-
video comparing the 5600G with a Intel i3 Plus GTX 1030, and it was really close. So yeah, it roughly comparable with a 1030. Then that's
Oh
disappointing.
yeah, absolutely.
I hoped it would be a bit higher than that. Although I'm not sure what I was. I'm not. Was there a 1050 Ti, or did I hallucinate
Yes.
that? Yeah, I think I was kind of hoping that it would go up against a 1050 or a 1050 Ti. You know, I wasn't expecting 1060 performance out of it, but
No,
you know,
but it's also a case of I'm looking at this from the perspective of just the perspective on the costing.
yeah,
The costing is £12, and
yeah,
if you're selling it with a 1030 in, if someone looks at that later, they're going to judge you significantly harder than selling it just with a 5600G.
Yes.
Because they'll assume you'll have charged them £700.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All
I
right.
am surprised at that actually seeming reasonably not terrible value.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good as a minimum viable brand new computer that you would actually not be embarrassed to sell.
And also the other thing that's really good about this is you swap the case on it and now it's an office PC.
Yes.
So if someone walks in and says, oh, I want to buy an office PC, you go, cool, I can have one ready for you for this afternoon.
Yeah, and you could just repurpose one of the gaming PCs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about this specific build.
Mm.
Yeah,
I like the look of that.
Yeah.
I think that's our go-to. So just for funsies, then, what graphics card would we add to this one? Cheapest, not terrible new graphics card.
that didn't quite do what I expected it to do.
What the hell is that diamond card up the top?
Oh,
5450.
Yeah.
I see.
Yes. A 1030 is apparently £97.
But why are these graphics cards still for sale?
That's the 1030 GDDR edition as opposed to the DDR edition.
Yeah, that was a rhetorical question for the record. Yeah. Oh, there's an ASRock Challenger there. That's a 6400.
Yeah,
okay, that's actually a 6000 series. All right, fair enough.
No. 6500. No, 1650. What are we looking at? What is literally cheapest brand new?
Yeah. Chat is all gambling 6600 or an.
Yeah, it's the 6600 is the cheapest at 196. 195.
Where's the ARC fall into that? The A580 or A5? Is there an A570 or an A580? Which one of those is correct?
Apparently.
I was going to say I'm not seeing ARCs
Not
on it.
even
Yeah, where is the
here.
ARC?
I'm just going to type in ARC. There you go. 124 for the A380. 127 for the A310. And then no stock of anything other than the
Yeah.
A380, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah, apparently they're out then. Yeah.
What was it? It was the ARC A520, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. You'll need to confirm what it actually
580.
is. Yeah, 580 is correct. Yeah, so yeah, ARC A580 then, yeah.
£192.
Yeah, and what was the
First result.
6600 coming in?
195.
Okay, yeah. So if you can find an A580, then that is price competitive.
Yeah, 195.
However, but I wouldn't sell a computer with an ARC in it.
Oh, see, I would go up to an A750.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's £13 over the A580.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'd go for the A750 over the A580.
Yeah. However,
If you're looking
I still
at it
wouldn't.
anyway.
I still wouldn't pick either for a computer that I was selling out of the shop because ARC works until it doesn't. Basically, yeah. Really looking forward to see what the ARC B series ends up shaping up to be like because yeah, like as we all know, ARC has grown a lot. They've done a lot of work with the drivers and stuff like that, but you might just still get a really asinine weirdo problem. And yeah, and if you're a power user and you're this is exactly what Steve from Gamers Nexus says. Is he says, you know, like if you're a power user and you understand that you have an Intel Arc GPU and you can troubleshoot it, it's a really good value prospect. However, if you're building it for a family friend and you want something that's reliable, you don't want to put an ARC in there. And so yeah, I think the 6600 is going to be the way forward there. Battlemage never ever. Yeah, what's the story on Battlemage? Is it dead?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, something has Roger Kadori actually ever had any successes?
Yeah.
Something.
I don't know who that is, but from the context, I'm assuming no.
something. I'm amazed anyone ever hires him.
I see. Yeah. Battle Mage might be laptop. Yeah. A couple of token gesture ones to get rid of some silicon, maybe. Oh well, okay, 6600 it is then, I guess.
I think the A380 at 130 quid is still reasonably interesting. Not as a graphics card, but as effectively a secondary display adapter.
Yeah.
And things like that.
And also, again, if you
Because
need something for video transcoding and stuff like that, again,
it's kind of
Arc is
interesting from that
really
point.
good at transcoding, like crazy good.
Yeah, it's interesting from that point. Oh, have you done a comparison with a 40 series card?
Not directly, no.
So it'd just be interesting to see if your 4080
Yeah.
is faster than the 3080 for video transcoding for your specific settings.
Oh, I see.
And how much faster.
My 4080 versus the 3080 Ti, the 4080 was a shade faster, but it's difficult to tell because that was before the last Handbrake update.
Yeah.
For context, when I'm transcoding video, I record the mainline videos. I record the video in a quad 1080p video file, and then I transcode into 4 1080p files for editing. Not very efficient, but it's very convenient when I'm recording. So my transcoding pipeline is basically just cropping a 4K file 4 times. Now on the previous versions, the crop was done on CPU, and the video decode and encode was done on the GPU. So this meant that I was heavily GPU bottlenecked, but the A7 is it A770, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the A770 still punched way above its weight on that task.
Yeah.
However,
it was
with
like 70% faster or something, wasn't it? 70-80% faster.
than the 2070 Super.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 So, but still, it was trading blows with a graphics card that was well above its category, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. However, with the latest version of Handbrake, the actual video crop is also done in GPU now. So the CPU bottleneck has been removed, and transcode speeds have gone, So like I'm transcoding at like 450 frames a second now, which
cool.
is brilliant.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
We should run it through on that art card again.
It would be interesting to see the test again with no CPU bottlenecks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. But yeah.
You should also check the refurbished market. We're only looking at new stuff because the problem with looking at refurb stuff is it's different every time you look, and it depends on what's available in your local area. So it's very, very difficult to compare.
And the difficulty I had looking at the refurb market was delivery time.
Yeah.
Because buying all of these new parts, they will be here by Tuesday. All of them will be here by Tuesday, so I can build Tuesday, sell Wednesday.
Yeah.
Money in my account Wednesday. If I'm buying refurb, I wait on however long it takes the person on eBay to send it. And I unfortunately had some bad experiences with that, where it took nearly a month for the parts to come, which is just obviously something is really hard to deal with when you're doing really small volumes and stuff. Obviously, when you're doing big volumes and stuff, it's a case of, oh, fine, I'll swap this card from this build, and that other customer can wait. But I also told them that it wouldn't be ready for 2 months or whatever,
Yeah.
When you're doing 2 or 3 builds a month, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Certainly, if you're trying to build at home on the cheap, it's definitely worth looking at refurbished stuff, especially for graphics cards, because we're generally looking at previous gen graphics cards anyway. So that's a very valid response, but not something that we're accounting for today. We have done. We have looked at eBay for refurb stuff before, because that is fun just to look at what's about, but the information goes out of date very, very quickly, so it's not terribly helpful, I think. But yeah, that much being said though, for funsies, if we wanted to get a 6600 right now, that looks not very good.
We're looking at about 150 quid.
What's it look like buy it now? Is
170.
Yeah.
170 or best offer. These are Bart now pre-owned listings.
Yeah, and what was brand new? 195.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's functionally the same price, but it's just a case of...
Yeah, may as well pay a bit extra to get something that's brand new in box at that price, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you're really rubbing the pennies together,
Yeah.
you know.
There was one here that might be interesting because it's got...
Yeah.
It's
is
150 quid currently. It's ending soon. So, like, this one might be quite interesting if you're buying.
It's probably going to go up, but also
Yeah.
though, like, if you kept your eyes peeled, this is just a snapshot of looking at eBay right now, this second. If you if you go to sold,
Yeah, that's what I
sold
was trying
items
to
only.
find.
Yeah, sold items only.
That's completed listings.
You idiot!
There you go.
Oh yeah,
Sold.
okay. But yeah, my God, see, look at this. Some people are getting bargains. It is possible to find them way
Yeah, but this
cheaper
one
than
says
that.
pre-read description, which means it's faulty. This
Oh,
one
okay,
says it's
never mind.
faulty.
Yeah,
That one
oh.
says parts only.
Oh, right.
This is sorted.
Yep.
This is lowest price ever.
Yep.
I'm now just swapping to
Ended
ended
recently, yeah. Okay, yeah.
There you go. Which is
175, 187, scroll down. 150, yeah, there was one for 150.
yeah.
Yeah, like 150 and lower, you're saving a worthwhile amount of money on that point now. Like that still
This
was
one's
with £10
worth it
postage
because
as well.
because this was 180 for a 6600 XT.
Oh yeah, that's tasty. Yeah,
That was 150 for a 6600 XT.
yeah.
So it might be a case that actually it's better value looking for the 6600 XTs second hand.
Apparently, CEX have them for 160 quid with a 2-year warranty.
Interesting. No, it's uk.webuy.com.
And like, I'm no fan of CEX, but you know,
I'll have you know that's not actually their name. If you listen to their adverts, their brand name is Sex.
is that actually what they call themselves?
Yes,
All right, I'll call them Sex then.
it's done.
All right.
However, we will also refer to them as CEX to avoid any sort of monetization issues.
Yeah, actually. But, yeah.
180 quid for a 6600 dual.
Yeah. For those of you who aren't familiar with CEX, they are a high street used computer stuff store. They have second-hand games and second-hand hardware, used laptops, stuff like that, used phones, that kind of thing.
Weird.
But they're actually a high street shop. However, they've got a 2-year warranty, but that doesn't necessarily make them trustworthy because they don't test anything. So just because, like, you better hope it's got a warranty on it because it ain't been tested. So it's no more trustworthy than eBay would be. But the difference is that if it is faulty, you can send it straight back, no fuss, or you could walk into a high street shop and just hand it in. So pros and cons.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the stuff that's on here. I was like, okay.
Yes.
Fine.
Apparently it's the power color that was going up 160, but yeah, we'll take your word for
Yeah.
that. But yeah,
Wild.
yeah. At any rate, yeah. So again, though, I think if you found a 6600 XT on eBay at sub £200, that would be worth it.
Yeah,
but like we're
that's
seeing
it.
like 180 here, and I'm like, you may as well pay a 10 or 15 quid extra and get one that's brand new, and not have the fuss.
Oh yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
RX 6600 fighter for 160
Oh,
quid.
okay. Yeah. Just no picture. Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Very
bad.
well.
So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. DNA says, I've used their warranty and they're very good, TBH. I'd be more impressed if they didn't sell faulty stuff. I've had too many friends who have bought stuff from CEX that is just faulty. Like demonstrably faulty, like would have been found to be faulty if they'd actually tested it. I've had too many people that have been burnt by them. Like I said, if you're willing to roll the dice and you're willing to roll the dice and then take it back if it's faulty, no problem, you might get yourself a bargain. But don't pretend like you're buying something that is certified in any meaningful way. Like if you go to a certified Apple reseller, a certified Apple refurbisher, and you pay a bit extra, you're expecting to get something that has been refurbished, cleaned, and checked, and they've said, we have tested this, we've made sure this works. That's one thing. CEX don't do any of that. They will take the device from the seller, put a bigger price on it, and sell it again. That's what you're getting. So, like, there's not a doubt in my mind that their customer service might be fine, but they don't test anything. That's the big point. So yeah. Lucky dip, yeah, exactly that. You might get a bargain, but you need to buy from them understanding that you're not getting something that has been tested. So you're still going to roll the dice, but unlike eBay though, you can just walk into the shop and get your money back. So therein lies the advantage there.
Continuing down the conversation of just price creep and so on, but there's also the fact that there's a 6700 for 280 quid.
Need to migrate us again, we're in the way. Ooh. 6700 for 280. Yeah,
Which is
that's another
interesting.
£100 though.
Oh yeah, no.
No.
I'm not saying for any of this, but
Yeah.
just a case of I was just scrolling through CX and looking at pricing,
Yeah.
and then also the fact that there's a
50
50 XT for £200,
That's very attractive.
which is like
Yeah.
£4 more,
Yeah.
and you go from the 6600 to the 6650 XT.
That's extremely attractive. Yeah, I actually think that if you're this PC that we're speccing now, if someone was watching this stream going, I want to buy a new PC this week and that's on my budget, I would actually say buy that graphics card. I think that's a bargain.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, what's the cheapest 6650 XT on eBay, just in case we're looking at a bad model? Because sometimes you can, like we might actually find that that's just the going rate for them on eBay.
I wasn't specifically looking at that one explicitly, but just a case of, as a concept, I was just like, oh yeah, that's not bad. But yeah. 280, buy it now, 190 plus
pre-owned.
£11 shipping, so
Okay, yeah, so 200 is about the going rate. Second-hand 6650 XT, that's where it's at right now, isn't it? I
yeah,
think so.
if you can push up to £200.
Yeah, but like I think that's worth doing because you're going to stretch your budget just a little bit, but you're going to get a whole lot more, I think. And I know you.
Oh wow, buy. Yeah, there you go. Buy it now. What for a 6650 XT was 220 quid.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're finding it for that price, then
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
That also shows that 200 quid price from CEX is actually a really good price.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually a bargain
yeah.
in that case. So,
Because
some of them are slightly lower clock. Yeah, it's probably not going to be by a meaningful amount, so I wouldn't worry too much about the clocks.
yeah,
Certainly nothing that you can't.
6650 XT will be higher clock than the 6600.
Yes, but also apparently, there's no doubt in my mind that there are 6650 XTs that are slightly differently clocked.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, which
Of
is
course,
the
there always are.
implication. Yeah.
but the performance variance is like
Yeah.
1%.
Sai says he paid 207 for a new one on Amazon. When was that?
Yeah,
Yeah, because like if that was like around if that was around Black Friday, then that's kind of out of date now. But still, yeah, hypothetically. Our survey says
no. That's what he says. It's not really. Have the stretched boy.
yeah, that was around Black Friday-ish. So yeah, that was on sale then. So yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's still a decent price. Like for a mid-range graphics card, that's still like when we do our mid-range build, I think one of those is probably going to be where we land. Unless the 6700 XT new prices look really good. It's used now just 50 quid less than new. Kind of seems that way. Again, because the current gen graphics cards are kind of a damp flannel, the previous gen cards are holding their value to a reasonable extent. But on the flip side though, when we're talking about a graphics card that costs approximately 200 to 250 quid, £50 less is still a reasonable discount.
Yeah, it's 33%,
Yeah,
which is a significant variance.
yeah. So yeah,
So, yeah. 6700s, you're looking at 270, 300. Yeah.
Is the 6700 XT decently faster than the 6650?
Yeah, 'cause the 6650 is functionally the same speed as the 6600 XT.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so the 6700 XT is a bit better bang for buck there if you're buying new, or well, if you're punching higher. Like we're pushing up into the 300 bracket now, which is out of our minimum viable, but if we're starting to blend into, I think well, tell you what, let's refocus at this point and say I think that 6600 XT or possibly 6650 XT is what you go for our minimum viable. Should we start specking in mid-range?
Certainly if you're looking on eBay and so on.
Yeah.
Just because the eBay pricing between the 6600, the XT, and the 6650 XT doesn't really make the 6600 viable.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's look at the mid-range then, because then we can start looking at these higher-end cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in theory, if you wanted to go balls to the wall, maximum gaming performance PC.
Also, people are shouting at us for why we're not drinking, so if you're still wanting a drink, there is yours. If not, I'm going to crack one open because I'm thirsty.
Literally all you do is that. You now have the fastest gaming PC. And because it uses 90 watts, it will work in that A520 board.
Yeah. Yeah.
You now have the fastest gaming CPU, and you can stick it with basically any GPU you want.
Yeah.
And you're done.
The 5800X, like, I was having this conversation with a friend at New Year's who was looking to upgrade their PC this year, and they're going to be working on a budget. And
That's your foot.
It is. And I was saying, you know, AM4 is still viable because the 5800X3D exists. Is that the broken one or is that the new one? Yeah, no,
it's now broken.
Yeah. It's great. Can't believe you've done this. I'm gonna rob this. I'm gonna rob this rose. This rasoir. Da, 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 da.
Yes.
Everyone's saying try ASRock, don't be a Gigabyte fanboy. Yeah, but have ASRock actually got a viable... Well, we're looking at that Aorus Elite because we really liked that motherboard. That's a really good looking motherboard for this price category.
Yeah, for the like, because it was an Aorus Elite A520, we're like, oh, building a 5600G in this actually kind of sounds fun.
Yeah, like that's the thing is we could probably find an ASRock board that costs £10 less, but it's going to look like a A520 board. Whereas what we like about this Gigabyte Aorus Elite is that it's a cheap A520 board that looks badass.
Yeah.
It's actually a motherboard that's actually going to look good in your computer as well.
Yeah.
And
This also wasn't
still 90
specifically
quid.
the
Yeah.
thing, but I was just saying you could take that 5600G build,
Yeah.
put a 5800X3D in it,
Yes.
change nothing else,
Yeah.
and you have the fastest gaming CPU.
Yeah. Hypothetically, how much does it cost to get that into an X570 motherboard?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
now going to do.
Yeah.
But I was
Because
just
also, like, yeah, because that the 5800X3D just pushed us up to you know, the 700-ish, so you know we should probably be affording a
Oh, indeed.
yeah.
But it was just that point, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm going to put us up here, I think. Where will we go next? It's a mystery. Also, I'm gonna crop in the little picture of us just so we take up less room. Because we take up an annoying amount of room for what we're trying. Oh no! I didn't mean to do that. Okay, we're okay.
Help! I have been rotated.
That was an accidental click.
Oh, that's an X570S. Cool. We're basically going for
Left
that one.
by 100, by 200.
Oh, that I over.
Right by 200.
Gee.
2000. Oh, there we go. That'll do. There we go. We're taking up a bit less space now. Ugh. X570 is not really better than the B550. This is true, actually. Yeah, we should probably check B550 as well. God, those are really That's, yeah. I mean, he's got 8, yeah, no. Yeah, that, no. Next.
But these are what the ASRock motherboards look like.
Do ASRock have a nice X570? Phantom Gaming 4, yeah. What have ASRock got in their B550 range then? Because, like, I don't hate ASRock, but yeah. Okay, Steel Legend. The Steel Legends are usually pretty good, right? What's that got on the back
It's
of
not
it?
available in the UK though,
Oh, never mind.
because it's effectively from here just because it's Newegg and Newegg
Oh,
don't
yeah,
exist.
yeah.
Newegg are stupid and shouldn't be listed in the UK, but for some
Yeah.
reason they are. Yeah, so what you'd actually probably be looking at is the max of a carbon Wi-Fi.
Yeah. What are those
Which
at?
is
Oh, that's 200 though.
200 something
Yeah.
quid, which is, I mean, fine. That's still 80 quid less than your processor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, also though, because I was just going sort of, we're getting dangerously into the price of new gen, like Ryzen 7000 boards. But
Yeah,
then-
absolutely. But also,
yeah.
the 5800 X3D will be faster.
Yeah, but also like how much is a 7800 X3D?
I don't know what price that's sitting around at, but it was also the case of we're talking about what would you do if you were upgrading that computer and you
Sure,
do that.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, I would just go for something like this, the Aorus Elite V2, or the B550 Phantom Gaming is probably okay.
Yeah.
Let's see
What
what,
does
this
that
looks like.
ASRock B550 MHDV look like? Just out of interest, because it's
literally the £75 one.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you get for 75 quid? Yeah, minimum, but wow, six USB ports. Yeah, no, pass. Yeah, like again, that Aorus Elite A520 had 8 USB ports.
Yeah. And had better video options.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually, that's got better video
Yeah.
options just
The-
because it's got VGA,
Yeah.
DVI, and HDMI. That's interesting. That could be
Yeah.
an interesting build for something.
I don't like the 6 USB ports. I guess a lot of people only are going to plug in a mouse and keyboard and maybe a gamepad and stuff like that, but
But also, I don't know what specifically you would use this board
Yeah.
for, but just the fact that it's got VGA and HDMI on it is just
yeah, the
interesting.
VGA is interesting. That's good if you're building it for someone who's coming up from an old system and has like an old VGA only monitor that they don't want to replace. Because like there are some people out there that are running around with like a 21.5-inch monitor that's VGA only, and if you can, but on the other hand though, you'd just give them a HDMI to VGA adapter for an extra 5 quid. So yeah. That's kind of not really a selling point as far as I'm concerned.
No, but it was just a case I was just like, interesting, it's got VGA. I'm sure there are specific cases where that
Yeah.
could actually be really interesting.
Maybe, yeah.
MSI B550 Gaming Gen 3 ATX. Let's see if we got any more pictures. Oop, gallery.
6.
6 USB ports, 4 of them are USB 3.2.
Yeah, slightly nicer audio.
Which doesn't matter.
No, but yeah, just got a. Is that a BIOS flashback or a CMOS clear button? Not that it really matters, because like, LED Farmer is going, BIOS flashback is nice to have, but I don't think it's. I mean, anything you buy is going to support Ryzen 5000, so it's just like there's no real need to update to do a flashback at any point. And
Yeah, it's a BIOS flash button,
yeah,
which is cool.
I guess that's good if you brick the BIOS, but
Yeah,
I don't know that that's really a likely situation that people actually fall into.
yeah.
You know,
you don't need it for effectively blind upgrading
No.
anymore, because obviously it supports 5000 series out of the box.
Yeah.
But it is just a case, it's still worthwhile doing BIOS updates as and when they exist.
Yeah.
But that's just interesting, yeah.
Sleepwalker and Matthew Bryant says, don't use that many USB ports. Anything more than 4 USBs is overkill, in my humble opinion. Talk to a streamer. Talk to a content creator, and ask them how many USBs they need. So yeah, I've got a Republic of Gamers Hero, Crosshair Hero at home, which is 12, I think. I'm pretty certain I'm using 8 or 9 of them.
But even if you're using...
I could cut back a little bit. Like, there's a couple of extravagant extras there that I don't have to have. I could fit into 8, but I would fill 8. But,
But it's also a case of if you've got 4 and you're using 4 and you only have 4, how do you plug in a 5th USB device when you need to plug your phone in or your camera in?
Well, you could use your front USBs for that.
But if the board only supports 4...
Well, I think we're assuming 4 at the back with 2 front ports. I think that's a reasonable
But saying
assumption.
that having only 4 ports and anything more than that is overkill.
USB hubs are gross, though. No one likes USB hubs. It's just another box on your desk. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a place for that, but just, yeah. So now it's a case of, okay, you're going to save £5 to get the cheap motherboard with 4 USB ports, and now spend 30 quid on a USB hub that doesn't suck, So yeah.
What's the I/O on this?
So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some people that genuinely just have mouse, keyboard, and a gamepad, and maybe their headphones. So 4 USB ports. So absolutely. But it's false to say that more than 4 ports is a waste of time, because, as I say, talk to any content creator and they will tell you that they can never have enough USB ports. And yeah. Like, monitors with built-in USB hubs are really nice, but there are a lot of monitors just don't have them, including a surprising number of gaming monitors. Like, my Asus monitors don't have a built-in USB hub.
And it's also a case of, for me, to make my counterpoint, it's a case of you can spend £3 less and have 4 more USB ports by buying the Gigabyte board.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had 2 more USB ports.
Well, yeah, that was it.
By buying the Gigabyte board.
That stupid Aorus Elite that we were laughing at, that's got 8 ports on it. So, yeah.
But I mean, you could buy the B550M DS3H and have 2 more USB ports.
Yeah,
and save 2 or 3
Can you look at the... I wasn't paying attention. What is the B550... Yeah. Yeah, look at that. That's 8... That's 10... 8 ports. I can't count. Yes. And... the DS3H is a fantastic motherboard series. Si mentioned the DS3H a bit earlier on. And
and it comes with PCIe 4.
Yeah.
Which the other one only came with PCIe 3, didn't it?
I've been fitting DS3H boards to customer builds since like the B350 series, and I've fitted so many B450 DS3Hs. That was a cracking motherboard, and I've no doubt that the B550 DS3H is just as good.
Detail.
5+3 VRM, nah, but okay. Yeah, that's the thing though.
It's also a case
this
of
is AMD.
I only need 90 watts.
Yeah, this is AMD.
Well,
we're using
100.
less than 100 watts on anything but a balls to the walls top end build. This is the reason why Intel is in such a bad place, is because their mid to high end CPUs all demand 250 watts plus. So you've got to have the big motherboard.
The other thing as well is the B550M DS3H is £1 cheaper, £2 cheaper, whatever. But it's also got PCIe Gen 4 to the primary X16, and the MSI, which is more expensive and has fewer USB ports, is only Gen 3.
Yeah.
So if you were unfortunate enough to put a 6500 XT in your computer and you had the MSI board, it would perform at half the speed of the Gigabyte board.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a case of, it's like, yeah, sometimes there are some dramatically better options out there. And weirdly, in this situation, it's cheaper. I was like, okay. But then again, I guess the Phantom Gaming 4 probably is Gen 4 as well. I would assume.
Tough Enough says I've got a DS3H with 2 burnt out coils. Yeah, I mean, there's not a doubt in my mind that one of them has failed at some point, but I've had a lot of success with them. So, you know. Oh, I wasn't looking. What do you
Supports
what do you see?
DDR4 4733. Yes. Of course you do. On a 4 dimmer. Absolutely, of course. Yeah, there we go. Here you go. Here's another board with PCIe 4 to the primary slot. So, get the Phantom Gaming 4 over the MSI board.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
fair.
cheaper as well. Yeah, it's 89 to 89.99. It's 50p cheaper, but it's 50p cheaper with Gem 4.
Yeah, Amsterdam says,
So yeah,
can a DS3H run an overclocked 5600X using 160 watts? Don't know if I trust it with that, but also, like, again, if you're... We're talking about budget motherboards here. If you're heavily overclocking, then arguably you shouldn't be buying a budget motherboard. I guess we're kind of sort of saying, you know, that would be a disadvantage of cheap motherboards like this, is that they can't overclock. But if you want to buy a board that's going to have better VRMs, then it's going to cost more. So, yeah, it kind of goes without saying, I guess. Yeah. Reploid says, when a motherboard developer is going to introduce more colour, even some clip-on things would be nice. I kind of support that in concept, but also this is what RGB is for, in my opinion.
oh damn.
You know, like, a lot of people rag on RGB, but this is literally what RGB is for. You buy everything in black or white and you use RGB to add the colour. That would be my excuse to that, I think.
Ooh. I say. Yeah, B550 Aorus Elite V2, £108. So we're talking £18 more, yeah?
Yeah. What does that look like?
12 phase, 50 DR MOS, great, whatever. But it's got 2.5 gig LAN on it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, have you got a picture of the rear I/O on that? Yeah, this might be the solution to that, because, you know, if you want... Yeah,
I'm just like, that's surprisingly okay.
yeah. I was going to say, because that's, you know, that's got your VRM that's got your better than cheapest possible VRM on it, and it's only a bit extra. And what do we got there? 4, 5, 6, 7 USB ports? That's weird. No Type-C. You'd imagine that'd have a 7.5, as I call it, where you've got 7 Type-A's and a Type-C. That's a really weird choice. Does that have a front USB Type-C connector on it? I bet it does, which is why it doesn't have one at the back. Again, what's with these heckin' pictures, man?
I think we're at some really weird scaling.
I see. It doesn't look like...
Does it even
at the
have a
bottom of the
USB 3?
board. Yeah, it does.
Oh
at
yeah,
the bottom
there we
of the
go.
board.
I was like, does it even have front panel USB? What the
Yes.
hell?
Yeah, that's why it's
Yeah.
got no Type-C at the back, because it's got the front port header on it instead, which is completely reasonable in my opinion. Yeah. Although that much being... no, I am using the front Type-C port on my case.
I contend
I am
you're
using
probably
it.
more likely to use the front one than the rear one.
Yeah, like on this computer I use the rear one all the time.
Yeah, but that's
however,
also because the computer's rotated in that direction.
I guess, yeah, okay. Yeah, that seems like a good option. Yeah, because that's, so what was that, £108? So £110, and you've got a board that's got not terrible VRM that would actually handle 100 and something watts. It's got decent rear I/O on it. You know, 7 ports at the back is a bit oddball, but that's passable. And 2.5 gig LAN, that's a nice to have.
What
That
does
seems
the
like a pretty good
Gaming
board to me.
XV2 look like?
And optical audio. Liam, I support you, but no one cares about optical. I support you because I use optical. However, there are dozens of us, dozens. So Yeah.
Oh. Not sure about that.
Also, apparently you're making Mogwai sounds. I don't know what the Mogwai
I
sounds
see.
are, but yeah.
That's only got 6 USB ports.
What's this?
This is the
B550
B550 Gaming X V2.
Yeah, the Gigabyte Gaming X boards are always a bit.
Yeah, and it's
For 100
£8.
quid, yeah.
It's
no.
like for £8.
Yeah, for an extra £8, you get the Aorus Elite any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Wasn't the budget 500? We don't really have a particular budget. We're just looking for what makes sense, I guess. You know, like we're kind of, the budget is as low as possible, but we're allowing a little bit of price creep because
That's good.
I think setting a hard budget sometimes doesn't make sense because you can find yourself ignoring, like, the problem with price creep is you can spend an extra tenner on every component to make it slightly better, and suddenly your build is another 80 quid, which blows you out of your budget. Or if you're like me, it eliminates your profit margin. But on the flip side, though, sometimes you're looking at these and you're like, no, it makes sense to spend that extra 8 quid because you're getting something that's way better. Like spending an extra 8 quid to get better rear I/O and better VRM on your motherboard, that's a no-brainer, in my opinion.
Do you want to write down 550 quid?
All right, 550 quid. What is this for?
This is a 5800 X3D with a B550 MK, which is not the actual board you'd stick it with,
Okay,
but it's the minimum I would.
5800. How's that? 5800
X3D.
X3D, and that's with a B550 MK. Yeah, B550 Mobo. That's no graphics card. Yeah. Still, 500 quid no graphics card. That's not too.
550.
That's not bad.
Yeah, 550.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got that noted down.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm now going to take out the motherboard, the processor, and the RAM, and then I'm going to type in 7800 X3D.
Okay. Yeah. How much would it cost to get to current gen? Yeah.
Yes.
This is going to be an interesting one. How much
You
does it
now
cost
need
to
a
get to current
CPU
gen?
cooler
Yeah.
though, because it doesn't come with one.
Does the X3D come with a cooler?
I think so.
Does it come with a Wraith Max or something?
Oh no, the X3D doesn't, does it?
No.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So
we'll skip
may
this cost.
as well spec this with no cooler as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'll skip that cost
Yeah.
because I forgot.
Okay, that's fair. So mental note, that previous spec we had at 550, that was with no cooler. So you can realistically add another 30 quid for a cooler on that, 30 or 40 quid. I've got to see if I can find another one of those Peerless Assassins, because those were a great bang for buck.
Would you like a picture of the motherboard? Here's the back of the board.
Also, I'm going to catch up on chat in a sec. I'm just going to see if the Peerless Assassin is still really cheap on Amazon. Peerless Assassin. Because I bought a couple of Peerless Assassins. Yeah, Thermalright Peerless Assassin is still 30 quid on Amazon. And that's a chunky boy. The Peerless Assassin will do 180 watts. Fantastic air cooler for 30 quid. Hell, you can get it with RGB fans on for the same price. And it comes in black, grey, or RGB. Or it comes in white as well, a bit more expensive in white, but still, yeah, if you need a cooler for this, Peerless Assassin. Will it fit in the case though? Yes, it will. Yeah.
Apparently, something in here is incompatible. What? Oh, it
So,
doesn't
yeah,
include.
basically plus
stock
30
cooler.
quid for a
That's fine.
cooler because you put a Peerless Assassin on it.
Yeah.
If you want to put an expensive fancy cooler on it, you can. Obviously, at that point, that's your choice. AMD, you can get the great AMD cooler with RGB on it. You can, yeah. So again, also, if you really wanted to grind the cost down, you could probably pick up a Wraith Max for a tenner on eBay or something like that. So, yeah, but I guess I could do that for a computer I was selling if I was trying to grind down the cost. But also, though, it would be nice to sell it with a nice big chunky air cooler on it, just for funsies. NVIDIA coolers can be slightly underpowered. Not so much for the X3D though, because the X3D doesn't chew through power. If it was a 5800X, I would agree with you, because the 5800X is looking for 120 watts. But the X3D runs a bit cooler and a bit lower power because of that 3D V-cache. So yeah, you're looking at about 90 watts, and like as soon as you're looking at less than 100 watts, you could cool it by just holding your thumb against the chip. Big air coolers are great for shipping, DOA. Yeah, I don't ship PCs, so not something that bothers me. Oh, you're having a look at see what you, yeah.
Yeah, which DDR5?
Oh, I see, yeah, yeah.
36. What was that? Yeah, no, probably that kit. Oh, weren't these Lexar 4s weirdly good?
Yeah, Deep Cool AK400.
No.
The Deep Cool stuff is also very tasty, but I doubt it costs 30 quid.
Oh, it's
God,
not.
I hate the Amazon search bar so much. AK400. I have to say that every time. AK400, 35 quid. Yeah.
That's 107.
But again, yeah, Peerless Assassin is
you're not
bigger.
really gonna notice, but
You're not getting AK400 Zero. Oh, AK400 Zero Dark Plus. Let me just search for that specifically in case that comes up with something else. Zero Dark Plus. Okay, so that's an AK400 with 2 fans on it. It says 220 watts. I don't think that can do 220 watts. Because I had a Peerless Assassin on a 13900K, and I couldn't get it stable past 180 watts. I mean, it would go to 190, but we were thermal throttling at that level. So yeah, you're not putting 220 watts through a single tower cooler. Yeah, I don't believe that for a moment. Maybe with certain CPUs that have really favorable dies on them, but yeah, no, I don't believe that the AK400 will do 220 watts.
swapping those parts around.
Okay, what are we looking at?
7800.
X7800 X3D.
Yeah, you're looking at £722.
722. What motherboard's that with?
£725. The ASRock B650M HDV.
Oh yeah, so
1.2.
comparable price. Yeah, so it's just how much is so RAM is double the price. That's 32 gigs of RAM versus 16 gigs of RAM
Yeah,
as well,
but
though, of
also
course,
it's
which is
DDR5.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's 2x16
yeah. So
minimum.
yeah, so this probably makes more sense as our mid-range build, and then for a high-end build, you'd probably just add a higher-end motherboard for niceness and a bigger graphics card.
Well, yeah.
This is probably what the mid-range build would look like, though, realistically, isn't it?
I mean,
Because,
sure,
well,
but
you know,
that's a mid-range computer at £1,200.
Well, I mean, that's how much a mid-range computer costs these days, though, isn't it? Like 1,200 quid for
guess.
1,200 quid for mid-range. That's about what I would be quoting a customer. I don't think that's unreasonable. I'm just going to write that down for posterity. 7800
What?
X3D. Yeah. RX 7700 is 230 new right now. Damn.
Oh, it won't fit in the case, that's why. Right, if we ignore the compatibility filter, how much is 7800s? They are 500, and then
Be cool coolers.
70.
Do you mean be quiet coolers, Firephone? Be quiet coolers are nice, but they're very expensive, I find. If you want something that looks really good, though, they look very pretty. If you're trying to do a really good stealth air cooler build, you know. Coolmaster Hyper 212 at 37 quid, massive rip-off. The Hyper 212 is a great budget cooler.
The
but
Hyper 212 is also like a £12 slice your fingers open cooler.
I was about to say, that's the thing. The Hyper 212 is a great budget cooler, but it should cost 20 quid or under. The annoying thing is, though, is because it's also kind of a legendary cooler for esports builds, its price often is very inflated. When you can find it for 20 quid, absolutely. 37 quid, not on your life. Because again,
Can't you get
the Peerless Assassin is a dual tower, dual fan, 180 watt plus cooler for £30. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
You will not beat that. That is the
Yeah.
best bang for buck. End of story kind of thing. I will defy
good,
someone to
yeah,
find me a
that's
better option.
Yeah. And sure, there's better performance
Maybe,
coolers.
but not for 30 quid
No,
though, you
but
know.
they're
Yeah.
£100 plus coolers.
That's right, yeah.
But it's just a case of, sure, there will be better performance devices, but obviously they're much more expensive. So it's a case of
Yeah.
that was more of a case.
Yeah, that's why I'm a fanboy for the Peerless Assassin, because it's £30. That's crazy value for money.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. And again, you know, like, I put one on a 3900K, and sure, I had to power limit that 3900K, but it could do it, you know.
Yeah, at 180 watts.
Yeah, and I
Which
power
is-
limited
yeah.
to 180 watts, which, you know, again, it's limiting the CPU, but it still gets that burst. It still gets that burst boost clock, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, putting in something like a 7800 XT, you're at £1,233 component cost. And also it doesn't fit in the case. So we'd need to swap the case, which is another 20 or 30 quid.
Yeah, still 7800 XT. That's a very tasty graphics card. Yeah,
It's also just a case of
So,
I
yeah,
really wouldn't
and-
be going lower than that
yeah,
with a 7800 X3D.
yeah. No, that's reasonable. But again, well, 7800 X3D though, we're talking about what is in the top 5 fastest gaming
it's the
CPUs
fastest
in the
gaming
world.
CPU.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. That's my point of just the fact of if
Yeah.
you're doing that, you need to be buying
I mean, right now we
4080.
Yeah, we're talking about a high-end build now, and we're still at like 1200, 1300. That's good.
Yeah.
I expected us to be up at 1500 for the high-end build. I expected to, I mean, that much being said, though, this hasn't got a nice all-in-one liquid cooler or something like
No.
pretty
I'm
like
gonna
that.
I'm going to round this out
yeah.
as a high-end
But
build
still,
in a second.
Yeah, we're now talking about building a high-end build, about building something that performs as a high-end build for potentially less than £1,300. That's really good, in my opinion.
To bear that, there's a LAN call 205 mesh.
55 euros for the Peerless Assassin here. Yeah, it might be a really good price in the UK
bugger it,
only,
we'll
and
go-
in which case, that's fair. There might be better options in your part of the world in that case.
Can you really...
Like the 30 quid for Amazon UK, that is suspiciously cheap. Someone is clearing stock. But yeah.
Oh, we might need a new power supply. Yes, we are. Somewhat touch and go on this GameMax RGB Rainbow 550 watt with a 7800 XT.
Yeah.
It will
okay.
work, but we're
Yeah.
like 10 watts over.
Yeah.
It's slightly closer and squeakier than I'd like.
It works, just don't benchmark the PC. You can game on it, but you can't benchmark it.
Oh, we're going to be cheap.
Chris says, I miss the 220Ts and the 275Rs being 30 quid a pop on Amazon. Me too, man. I wish I bought 10 of them. Should have bought 10 of them. I missed the boat on that one. I bought like one of each for stock. I should have bought 10.
We're going to be cheap.
Yeah, EVGA 600 gold. That's
It's a
still
cracking one, but it's only 600 watts, so we can't use it on the next tier up build.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's respectable for this one though.
Where's the chipset selector? There. B650, B650, X670, there you go. How much is the B650E Dubry?
Tough Enough says, what do people think of the new vibration static cooling technology? Is this that solid state, no moving parts cooling stuff that we saw a while back? It looks very interesting, but it's going to be for laptops, basically. Laptops and mobile devices. I can't see it being relevant for desktop computers.
Yeah, it was capable of dissipating something like 12 or 15 watts,
Yeah.
I think was the single unit one. It was just like, that sounds really good for strapping on an M.2.
Yeah. It's going to be relevant for mobile devices. I don't think it's going to be relevant for desktop computers at any point. Because you can get the same kind of cooling capability out of the tiniest fan solution for a fraction of the price. It is interesting tech, though. I mention it because I think it is very interesting. Maybe for cooling around the CPU? Maybe. VRMs don't really need it, though, in a meaningful way. As long as you have the slightest of case airflow, your VRMs will be fine. And if you have a high-end motherboard, your VRMs just don't need cooling at all.
Yeah, certainly not at stock.
Yeah, it can work for handheld devices. Yeah, for mobile devices, sure.
Oh, the Asus Pro Art. That's actually reasonably good. Oh. Actually, I think we're probably going to end up with that.
We're looking at high-end.
Higher. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, high-end's not. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
not money.
I
No
think
object,
this is
yeah.
more what we'd. I think this is more like the build you'd build out for this. But this is now, £1,400.
Yeah. Still, that's a high-end build with a respectable spec that people aren't going to turn up their nose at. Like, the problem is if you buy something. You could probably buy a computer from PC Specialist that had a 7800X3D in it and the cheapest motherboard money can buy with 5 USB ports on the back, and it would come in and I would turn up my nose at it and be like, oh, I see, went to a system integrator, did you? Kind of thing. Whereas if this showed up in my shop, you got a Corsair 4000D on that, if that came into the shop, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty nice, that's respectable, there's nothing offensive in there. And, what was the total cost on there? 1400
1411.
Scroll up a bit more because we're behind our faces. There we go. 1411. I would be so bold as to say I would buy that and sell it for 1500 quid. 90 quid.
I wouldn't.
What would you sell it at? 1550.
Minimum, because that's only 10%.
I suppose. Yeah.
1551.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10%.
Yeah. Well, you know what? How much does that cost from PC Specialist? Let's look. Yeah. If we want this from a system integrator.
Specialist. I think that's right. I may have fumbled. Oh, yes.
Oh, that still has the Kingston SSD on it. What? It was that?
Yeah, it's a terabyte Kingston SSD.
Yeah.
Is it Kingston?
Yeah.
No, it's Kioxia, isn't it? Oh no, it's the MV2.
Yeah, it's the Kingston.
Oh, I thought
yeah.
it was the Kioxia.
It's 50 quid.
Whatever.
For what we're doing, we probably want to put a slightly nicer SSD in there. So yeah, all right, we'd probably change the SSD. That's going to adjust the price a little bit. Yeah.
£4,000 AM4 computers. There we go.
This is the thing. I have a suspicion that when we look at this, we're going to suddenly find we've got an awful lot more wiggle room than we thought.
I wish to have the 7800 X3D. I wish to have the...
Can you zoom slightly because no one can read this text?
No.
Command plus.
There we go. Yeah, it's because I was in the click. It was I
I
was
see.
in the
Yeah,
click
yeah,
menu,
yeah.
so it wouldn't. Right. What have we got? We have a Strix.
We zoomed in all that way and the drop down menu is still tiny.
Fine, we're going for that. That's a. Oh no, that is a better, pricier board. Oh, that's the Prime. We don't want the Prime. Yeah, we'll go for that. Oh, fuck off.
What?
4800 RAM.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, like I can't remember what it was, but I had that gaming PC that
Yeah.
came in a while back where I resoldered the PCI Express port on it, and that had like some garbage tier RAM in it. This is the problem is that
hell?
I was about to say I'm impressed at the amount of granularity you have when selecting components, but the issue is that the kind of people that are buying from PC Specialist, they don't know what any of this is, so
But I
they're going to
like-
pick the cheap one.
I like the fact, though, that I'm building this computer
Yeah.
and it says integrated graphics card.
I see.
So I'm going to see if I can buy this computer without a graphics card.
Well, I mean, you might want to bring your own graphics card, but then that's not very clearly telegraphed, is it?
Where's the buy button? Or the next button, or the go button?
Oh, top right, apparently. I think your font scaling might be breaking elements.
Get to know Windows 11? That's still get to know Windows 11. I don't know. But fine. Oh god, that's with a Corsair CV power supply.
Of course it is.
Let's fix this. Right, we want a 7800X.
Looks like PC specialists don't have 14th gen Intel in their pre-builts. Yeah,
Understandable.
I mean, they might be sitting this one out because there's not really a meaningful reason to buy 14th gen at the moment. So they may just be selling off their previous gen stock first.
Cheapest possible 1TB SSD. Over storage. Do not buy with RAID. Ah, yes.
Oh, can we have something other than a CV series? Yeah. RM, 84 quid. It's not terrible, but sure, yeah.
Don't need any of that. Oh, you can't get rid of.
Yeah, apparently that cooler's 100. That's fair. Yeah, well, 30 quid. So we were running with no, so our price needs to be plus 30 quid as well. We've also forgot that.
Standard
So,
thermal paste for sufficient cooling. Arctic MX4 for a £9 upgrade.
yeah. Oh! Good. I don't like talking smack about other businesses, but 9 quid for MX4. How much do you want to bet that if you put...
Oh my god, they're charging you extra for a wireless card.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the Mobo doesn't have one, then yeah. I mean, how much is a Wi-Fi card?
£21
For what?
for AX210, which is
Fine.
yeah.
That seems
But
reasonable.
it's the fact that they're charging me for one when the motherboard has it.
Okay, well, yeah, you can say not required though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to know that.
Yeah. They would quite happily fit an extra one, even when the board already has it, don't they?
Yeah. Wait, you can get Firewire cards. You know what?
We don't need a Firewire card.
No, but
I know you're having fun right now, but we have a job to do.
no operating system required. No recovery media. Fine.
Game Optimizer.
That's free? No antivirus software, there you go. No monitors, no cables, blah, 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 blah. Oh, what's the betting if you buy a monitor from them and then say none to the monitor cables?
They take it out the box. Yeah.
They ship you a... No
All right.
cable management.
Oh, no. Oh, how much do they charge for cable management?
What?
Oh, okay. This is like for coming
okay.
out the back.
No,
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. For a minute, I was like, they charge extra for that? I thought that was in... I was like, what the hell are you paying for in the build cost? Because like, credit where it's due, if you buy from a system integrator, the cable management will be sublime. That's one thing that they are legitimately very good at. I'm not, you know.
Right, this is a B650 plus Wi-Fi.
Okay, we're
So
at
I'm just gonna
1528 right now. That's not too shabby.
B650. Hold on. Tough.
Yeah, wasn't there an SI like Chillblast or something where they charge you extra for professional cable management? It wouldn't surprise me. I don't think that's unreasonable, assuming that the build cost is reasonable, because doing cable porn is time consuming. I think that's worth charging
There you
for.
go.
However, if you're already charging like a £200 build fee, I bloody hope you're going to tidy the cables for that amount, because any monkey can throw a PC together in half an hour with no meaningful cable management. So, you know, it's just I don't think it's obnoxious to charge for cable management if the no cable management charge price is very cheap, kind of thing.
So there you go.
So yeah, 1336 for us, and what's that? Is that with the cooler and such?
Oh yeah, we need to add a cooler, don't we?
Yeah.
What are we adding?
Just add in something that's to the value of 30 or 40 quid. Oh, there's a Peerless Assassin for 40. Just slap that in there for now, because that's good enough for reference. Because this is kind of this is estimate prices anyway. So 1375. We've gone down in price. What happened?
I swapped the motherboard to be the same motherboard.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. What were we then? 1376 was that?
1370. Functionally 1375.
1375, and they're charging
1530.
Yeah. So they're looking for 200 quid build then, aren't they?
Effectively.
Or 200 profit, yeah. So yeah. That's not as horrifying as I thought. Was there anything in there where we were like gross, or is that a decent spec?
Only on the standard choices. Also, this is in a £26 case. I
Oh,
realised
yeah.
I hadn't changed the case.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
3000D, 4000D airflow, I think. Yes, that is a 4000D airflow. There we go.
Yeah, so about 250 quid extra. So we're estimating that they've got about 250.
No, £195.
Oh, 195. Yeah, okay. So let's call that 200 then. So yeah, we're estimating that they've got about 200 quid profit margin built in on that.
Yeah,
So
which
yeah.
is quite reasonable.
Yeah, so I could sell at
Both
100. I could sell at 150, which is making a decent profit margin and still decently undercutting big system integrators. So yeah.
It's also a case of you'll end up with a branded graphics card, whereas this is quite possibly a reference design one or something like that.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then
there
at
we
that
go.
point, yeah, it's going to have all decent components, and you're buying from a high street store that you can bring it back to, because even though they're providing a warranty, no one actually wants to have to ship their PC back. No one wants to actually have to do that.
Hold on. Ha!
Apparently the own brand SSDs are Charles Babbage, so crap. What's the SSD?
There you go. The own brand one, because it's a
Yeah.
cheap SSD to match our cheap
Oh
SSD.
yeah, because we had a Kingston as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We were also spec'd with a cheap Kingston, so
There you
that's
go.
fair.
Swapping to a branded graphics card, it's 1655.
1655. Yeah, that's another 60 quid or something, isn't it?
No, it's another.
Or what? Whoops, we're on 15.
It's another 80 pound.
Yeah, that's a fair hike then. So yeah, their own brand one must have been a cheap special. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're still easily undercutting then, with better components. Add RGB to it. Yeah, our one doesn't include RGB because we've got a 4000D, which doesn't come with RGB. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris, what's the Charles Babbage reference? I'm assuming that's what's that Cockney rhyming slang for? I'm assuming it means rubbish.
Sadage.
Yeah. Although, like,
Radish.
for those of you who don't know, Charles Babbage invented the punch card computer. So he is very significant in the history of computing, but also his computer could be equated to a potato by modern standards. So, yeah.
It's funny how that happens over 300 years.
Absolutely. But yeah, which is, yeah, so to say that something is Charles Babbage, that doesn't mean that it's really, really good because it's something from 300 years ago. So,
But yeah, but that's the difference.
mm,
And obviously, if you were building a
yeah. So they've got a decent build margin built in, but one of the things I noticed there when we were speccing up, like the graphics card is pushing this point a bit, but I noticed that like when you selected the Corsair 4000D case, that said like £68 or something like that. So it was charging the difference in price. Whereas when you look at, let's say you're buying an Apple MacBook and it comes with 8 gigs of RAM as standard, or let's say you're charging an Apple MacBook and it comes with 250 gigs of storage, and you say, okay, I want the 1 terabyte option. They say, cool, that's an extra £200. You feel like you're being robbed. Whereas those optional extras, that feels like the actual cost difference in parts. It doesn't look like they're building much profit into those parts.
Don't forget.
Other than they're obviously paying less for them,
Yeah.
but they're not taking the piss. They're not charging the cost of the parts plus additional profit there. So like, we can do it cheaper than them, but I don't think they're taking the piss.
Yeah.
And I think most of the SI built computers that I see that seem a bit crap are because the customer has selected bad parts. So this seems to be more a limitation of the speccing website, which, and like, you know, we can make the argument that the website should recommend certain things or should not allow certain things to be selected, but also we're getting into a very complicated system now. So, yeah. Look at someone not PCS, look at OC UK. Can do. I'm assuming that most system integrators are going to be comparable in price, but what are you up to at the moment, Caradog?
I am.
Are you looking for high end or something?
Yeah, effectively, if
Yeah.
you were just kind of going,
Yeah.
here is ticking high-end boxes effectively.
Okay, we're going to tick high end boxes, then we'll have a quick look at someone else like OC UK just as a control test. I think also PC Specialist unloading crap to curries also creates a lot of those horrible combinations. Oh, interesting. Can you get
Yeah.
PC Specialist stuff in curries?
I can't remember if it's PC Specialist or PC Specialist. I can't remember if it's Curry's branded or not. But yeah, there's possible compatibility issues with these parts. Yeah, probably. We have 2 graphics cards for one.
Yeah. Liam in Wales says last year PC Specialist was the best value option, and apparently he looked at all UK shops. So we'll have another look because I'm curious. I'm curious to put this to the test because I don't look at system integrators very often at all. Well, I don't look at system integrators. But yeah, PC Specialist sends curries as a physical store and offloading their crap. Yeah. I could believe it. I can believe it. You've had an FX 4300 and GTX 1070 combo come in. Ugh. Somewhere out there, there's a system integrator still selling AM3 rigs.
That'll do.
You know it in your heart.
Yeah, there you go.
2000. Yeah. Yeah, and now we've got an 850E power supply there. 7900 XTX. Yeah. And X670E Wi-Fi motherboard. Yeah, so the very tasty option.
Yeah, this is the very much more high-end version.
Yeah. And a couple of people were sneering at the Team Group memory, but that's DDR5 6000. That's still nice.
Also, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's good.
without massive amounts of time being spent on looking
Yeah.
at it. It's certainly the best XMP or Expo.
Yeah.
It's 6000.
Yeah. The Crucial P3 Plus is a middling SSD. I think
yeah.
at £2,000, I'd probably spend the extra 30 quid for a Samsung or something. But hypothetically, though, yeah. You're not doing more than 6,000 on AM5. Yeah, precisely, basically. Can you post the PC parts lists on Discord when you're done? We haven't been saving the ones as we go. Have you been saving, or you've been editing, haven't you? Yeah, we haven't been saving these as we go, I'm afraid.
What was that? Team group is okayish, but if price is not much, I'd go up. Why? For what? How?
Yeah, don't forget,
In what way?
none of these people make the chips.
How? In what way? Change it
Yeah.
in what regard?
Like, don't forget, we could get RAM that's made by Corsair, and that wouldn't make it any better.
It would arguably make it worse because it'd make it Micron. Oh no. Would it make it Micron for DDR5?
I was going to say, there's not many people actually making DDR5 at the moment, is there?
No, it would make it weird Micron ADI bins, I think.
Yeah.
Because for some reason Corsair loves some really weird bins at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's middle to crap RAM.
Yeah. So,
If you're anyone who actually knows anything about RAM.
Crucial T500. I saw that listed the other
It's
day.
the PCIe Gen 5 drive.
Oh,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd buy it.
Yeah. Well, how much is it? What's it look like?
I can't remember. I thought it was like 400 quid. The T500. Oh no. Oh, the
100?
crucial T500.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What was I thinking of then?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is this
Wait, no,
this
is the
cached?
this is a Gen 4 drive.
Okay, yeah.
What was I thinking
Is
of?
it cached though? Because the problem with the Crucial P series drives is that they're not NAND cached, so the performance will crash on long transfers. That's their weakness. They're fine. Don't get me wrong. I use them all the time.
I mean, that's literally how an SSD works, though.
Yeah, but like if you get one that's decently cached, you'll get a very long period before the performance crashes. You know. And like when I say, you know, it will crash on long transfers, I mean to the tune of like anything above 30 gigabytes kind of thing, you know, and it's like, it's not difficult to hit that crash. Whereas if you get something that's decently cached, it's only going to be a problem when you're transferring like, I don't know, 100 gigs or something like that, you know. Most people don't move big files. Absolutely. This is why stuff like the Crucial P3 and P5 are still 100% viable. It's just worth keeping that in mind. If you're spending
these are
£2
hard
grand on a PC, you can probably afford to spend an extra 20 or 30 quid on your SSD. Scans 3XS top end, 4090, has a better CPU. Define better CPU. Bearing in mind the 7800X3D is the fastest gaming CPU.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Except for I think Final Fantasy 14.
yeah.
I think, and for
Although I guess if you want productivity, then obviously there are faster CPUs. But you know, if we're talking a gaming
Threadripper.
PC, you know, yeah. So sure, the 7800X3D is a fucking fast CPU, you know. So yeah, 400 cheaper than PC Specialist top end offering. Yeah.
sure, but that's a top end
That's
offering.
we're talking about top end offering, yeah. So yeah, 14900K versus 3900K.
Okay, but the 7800X3D is faster,
Yeah,
uses 200 watts less power,
yeah.
so it's not a better gaming CPU.
Intel isn't competitive when you're talking about overall all-round performance kind of thing.
The 14900K makes sense for basically people who competitively run TimeSpy
Yeah,
and people who competitively run Port Royal.
and yeah, and like I've had a 3900K in the shop, and just I saw the amount of power it pulls. I was just like, my God, why would you buy this CPU? It's nuts, absolutely nuts. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, though, if you tick all of the most expensive options, you're not going to see value for money. So, you know,
It's kind of a
Yeah.
case of you're not supposed to.
yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Yeah, like Sleepwalkers just said, what about mythical budget, the highest PC parts you can? the problem is that doesn't make sense. That's kind of exactly what the point that we're now raising is.
But to do
It
that,
doesn't actually make sense to do that. Because now, yeah, it's just like, sure, we can put in 8 terabyte SSDs and the a Threadripper CPU, but that doesn't actually make any sense whatsoever.
it's not actually faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Chris. You're basically saying that Scan is potentially has lower offerings, but we'd have to look at their mid-range to confirm that, because we might just be looking at that. It's going to depend on their mid-range as well. That's the problem. The top-end options are not representative of someone's overall price range. It makes absolute sense that PC specialists are going to try and sting people who are buying almost money no object systems, whereas if you come down into the mid to high options, you're probably going to find that their prices suddenly get an awful lot more competitive. Oh, don't worry, everyone. JD has arrived. $600 power supply for less than 50 quid. New, doable. I don't think so. The GameMax 550 was like £56 or something, wasn't it?
I don't know. I'll look at that in a minute.
Yeah. I'll have a quick look while you're doing this. Amazon. GameMax 550. Yeah, I would say no, because GameMax for budget power supplies, GameMax have kind of got the market cornered right now. They do solidly okay power supplies for pretty good value for money, and their 550 is currently at £54 on Amazon. So I don't think you're going to get 600 quid for I don't think you're going to get 600 watts for less than 50 quid. Can't see that happening. EVGA 550 for $55. Oh yeah, that's a couple of years ago. Yeah, no, power supply prices have been incredibly unstable in the past sort of 24 months or so. Yeah.
Wait, is that actually in stock? The Gene's in stock. Holy crap! Wasn't expecting that. I would go with
Low to mid-end is the same thing. 3XS start at 920 for a 4060 system versus 1180 for PC Specialist. Okay, fair enough, yeah. All right, well, what we'll do in a sec then, we'll...
there you go.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Scan in a sec and just see what their offerings look like. Because that's a big cost saving that you're suggesting there. I almost find that hard to believe. It's not that I don't believe you, but that's certainly worth looking at.
There you go.
All right, is this the money no object system?
No, it's
what
I'd actually tell someone who wanted to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, if someone said, I don't care about the price, what's a really fast computer, yeah. So yeah, still 7800X 3D, but with a really nice liquid cooler, really nice motherboard, yeah.
I might swap the RAM around, but I'd need to check a Buildzoid video to check that.
Yeah, that's not going to move the price by more than 50 quid though, and again, we're looking at a £3,400 build now, so.
Yeah.
And that's with a 4090, yeah. Yeah, $3,500. So we've definitely pushed off of the price curve into the woo.
Yeah, because this computer is no faster than the previous one, really.
Yeah, well, the 4090 is going to be good though.
Because it's but we've added something like £600 in price by upping the power supply by 200 watts, swapping to a really expensive case, swapping to an expensive motherboard.
Yeah,
and the performance is no different. The other one still had a 4090 in it, but was 2,900 or something like that.
Oh, did we have a 4090 on?
Yeah. I just did it and then updated everything else.
Oh, I didn't.
But that's what I'm saying. So you can spend an extra like £500 and gain zero performance.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fair.
That's how we're off the end of the scale because you've already selected the category of highest product.
Yeah.
But you're now just selecting the expensive ones in that category, kind of thing.
Yeah. All right.
Other than the Deep Cool,
Yeah.
which is
have a look at
£99.
yeah. Have a look at Scan 3XS, and let's have a look at how much our sort of £1,500 PC costs.
What was it? Just pro gaming PCs.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Just see what we got. £1,500 to spend. What can we get?
Ooh, buy a water-cooled PC from them. Nice. Configure an AM5. Cases, right. Corsair. 400D airflow. Shibit. There you go.
Reasonable.
Oh, glass etching. That's cool.
Yeah.
No, we're not having an Asus Prime.
Oh, that's cool. They show you the price of the part plus the price extra.
Yeah. What did we have? We had that, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, didn't we have a B650? I thought we were looking at the Strix B650 or something like
there we
that.
go. Yeah, it's
it was
that one.
Yeah, it was balanced. Yeah. Does the airflow come with multiple fans? No, comes with 2. System integrators may change the fan configuration around though, but I don't think we'll count that because, you know, if we're talking about just airflow fans, you know, you don't need a lot there.
And also they're £10 each.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so none of the options were RGB, so yeah, we'll kind of discount that.
Wow. That's concerning.
What RAM did we have on the PC Specialist build? Was it 6000?
Some generic 6000, yeah.
Yeah.
The only
yeah.
6000 option is
The Dominator, which is, well, the Dominator's
one.
165. That's not horrific. But then we were looking at about 105 on our custom build, weren't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
And AMD GPU. Oh yes,
Yeah.
a 6500 XT.
yeah. I guess we could slap in like some 5800 RAM just to try and approach price parity, because yeah, well, we'll take that into consideration.
A magnetic spirit level? What? Oh, it's a graphics card bracket.
The magnetic spirit. Oh my god.
Would you like this computer that starts at £800 to have a VS 550? Oh, they only sell Corsair power supplies.
Oh,
right.
Chris says he was looking at their pre-built click and buy stuff, not their custom configurator, which might explain why right now our price is spiraling wildly out of control.
Yeah. No fans, no. None of the other stuff, none of the other bits and bobs. Yeah, I think that's right. I'll have
Yeah.
to check this in a second, but 4000D airflow in black. B650E-F motherboard. 7800X 3D. The cheapest cooler that they have. The same RAM. The cheapest 6000 RAM. A 7800 XT to match.
Yeah,
A 750 watt power supply to match.
yeah,
Cheap SSD in there. No other option selected.
yeah. So the custom build from Scan doesn't look great at 1800.
Yeah, compared
but
to
have a look at-
1500 from
Yeah.
PCS.
Have a quick look at what some of their pre-builds look like then in that case, because based on what Chris is saying, it sounds like with Scan their pre-builds may be the way forward. Because yeah, that custom build, yeah, that ain't it, Chief. Yeah, that's really bad. 7700X.
Yeah, but that's a
That's at
£7,700.
£2,000.
That's 7700X with a 4070 Ti
Yeah, at
for
£2,000.
£2,000.
Yeah. What were you looking at, Chris? Because I wanted to like you scan. I was kind of hoping to see something good, but yeah. This ain't it, Chief.
God, £3,928 for a 7950X with 5600 RAM
Oh my god.
and a 4090.
Yeah.
You couldn't even stretch the budget to binning some chips to get 6200 to work
Yeah.
for £4,000.
And that's supposed to be their top
insulting.
spec, you know.
That's
yeah.
insulting.
Yeah, disappointed.
7500F and a 4070 for 1600. None of these have AMD graphics cards. Why not?
Mm.
And also, they only have Asus graphics cards. Interesting that PC
Partnership, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but interesting that PC Specialist were the same and only had Asus graphics cards as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that Asus are
Cornering the market.
clearly pushing. On
Yeah,
that.
there's
So it's also Asus motherboards.
Yeah, there's obviously deals going on there. Sleepwalker says try Newegg. Sure, let's have a look at a US website, just for funsies.
I don't know if it will work. Because I've had massive problems browsing their site from the UK.
Oh, I see, yeah, because you think that they're going to try and only offer stuff that ships.
So looking at what?
Just
the
pre-built.
PC builder
Yeah,
or
just
something?
PC builds, yeah. Because we're
Computer
looking at
systems,
stuff that you
gaming
can buy in the
desktops.
UK, but what if you're in the US? What does a computer cost in the US?
Stay.
Yeah. For Newegg, they don't add tax. Yeah, that's going to depend on what state you're in, I guess. So, I don't understand how America, please explain. I don't understand how America works. So you've got to add your state's sales tax to whatever price we come up with here.
But only if your state applies sales tax to online purchases.
Yeah. I don't know what normal is. What's
What do I get for $3,200? I get a 13900K. Yeah, fine. A 4090.
Yeah.
Yeah. A Z690A motherboard. Yeah. DDR5 6000. Yeah. A 2TB SSD. An EK AIO. Ha! Nice. And a 1200 watt power supply. Oh god, 'cause it's a 13900.
Yeah. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, well, that again, no tax on that. What should we assume for tax?
I think
15%?
I think it's 10 to 12. I think 10 to 12% is the average.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's slap on. Let's slap on 10%.
Which makes it 35, 36.
Yeah.
3600, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Even at 3,200, that's not particularly great, is it? Oh no, because it's a 3090. 4090 and 4090s are
Yeah.
£2,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were looking at like £3,500.
Yeah,
so,
but that was also a tricked out one. But yeah, absolutely.
well, this isn't
That's a
far
good
off
point.
the mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's not super tricked out, but again, it's not far off the mark.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a case I was just like, oh yes.
Yeah. And yeah, some people are saying, Florida is 8%.
Yeah.
Circle Off says it's 5.5%. So again, you may be getting it cheaper. So yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
It sounds like the US people are getting better bang for buck on pre-builts than the
What's
UK
this
people are.
£1,600 one? 11900 KF. No thanks. Oh my god, it's 11900 KF with a 4070.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of them 11th gen chips, aren't they? 11th gen was a potato, was a lemon.
Acer Predator gaming desktop, 12700F with DDR4 and a 3070 for $1,000. Yeah,
That's not terrible.
yeah.
Yeah. Again, like you don't really want to be buying a DDR4 computer. We proved this with the.
Also,
well,
doesn't-
unless
I-
it's a 5800X 3D, you don't really want to be buying a DDR4 computer. A high,
Yeah.
again though, we're talking a grand here, so
Yeah,
yeah, that's not,
it's not terrible.
that's fine, yeah. The only problem, of course, that's going to have proprietary parts in it and stuff like that. That's going to be like that Predator that
Yeah.
I fixed the CPU pins on. So like, don't buy that PC. You can kind of see why people do buy them though. The prices are actually quite attractive. The components are terrible. Don't buy those PCs. But I understand why people are buying those PCs.
$700 for a 13400F and a 3050. To go up to a 3060 is now $1,400.
Oh, for a 3060, oh no, thank you. What
Yeah.
did it previously have?
A 3050.
Oh no, that's no bueno.
Right, a 13700F, 3060, 16 gigs of DDR5 and a terabyte SSD for $1,300. What? Why would I buy that when for $1,400 I can get the 4060?
Weird.
Or, yeah. For like, oh, there we go. Yeah, that's the one I wanted. Or for $1,000, the 3070. I can get a 3070
Yes.
and a 12700 for $200 less
Yeah.
than the 13700 and a 3060. What?
Right. On this note of confusion, I will be right back because I need to spend a penny.
Very well. That makes 0 sense. But anyway, yes. Let's remove the parts. Because funnily enough, I don't think anyone's going to walk in here anytime soon and say, I wish to spend £4,000 on a computer. Funnily enough. But anyway. No pro, no. What? Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, indeed. How many DDR? All the DDR! All of the Dance Dance Revolutions. Yes. It appears that you need to be reasonably careful though, because there are a couple of specifications on there that are absolute lemons. Yeah, and are no good at all. But was someone's question about earlier saying about 600 watt power supplies or something? Just 'cause I'm interested in what the actual price for the 600 GD is. Yeah, 'cause it's £68 for, I think, what was the cheapest 600 watt. It's not crap. Please do not fall over.
Oh no.
Please do not drop the microphone and deafen everyone.
It's turned off and muted. It's fine.
Ah, okay.
However, I threw it and it fell down the back of the boards and it got covered in cobwebs.
Oh, okay. At least it didn't get covered in
In what, Caradog?
of effluvium from the shop, and then just get embedded in the microphone hole.
I don't know what you just said.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, that'll do.
Yes.
Okay, right. Oop.
Yes. Absolutely. But yes.
Good. All right. Mm.
Good. But yes, I think that covers off our long ramble.
Yes, yeah, I think we've covered everything there. So, yeah. So how are prices aren't too bad then. So, you know, like
mostly. It's
SSDs are looking a little bit expensive at the moment, but by and large, it's not a bad time to be buying a PC. And
No.
like we're now talking about buying Ryzen 5000 and hell, you know, 7800 X3D systems for, you know, £1,200, £1,300 is technically doable. And
Yeah.
that as a long-term platform, you know, looks like a great option. Because if you were to get like a 7800 X3D, you know, even assuming that let's say a Ryzen 8000 series comes out soon, the 7800X3D is going to be, because like the 5800X3D is still extremely competitive, and the 7800X3D, that's going to remain competitive for years to come. So like, it's a solid investment to buy one of those right now.
Yeah.
Because we, you know, based on the fact that it's as good as it is, we know that it's not going to fall to the bottom of the charts anytime soon.
No,
So,
absolutely.
you know, being able to get a 7800X3D in your desktop computer for, you know, £1,300 or so,
Yeah.
that's a lot less than I thought it would cost.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. So yeah, good. All right. Well,
It's
then
still somewhat at the point, though, to me, where it's obviously a case of if you're on a 5800 X3D, it's obviously not worth upgrading.
no.
And
Hell, I think buying a 5800X3D today is not a terrible idea.
yeah,
You know, because we showed that that could be done for what 700, what we were, 750 no graphics card.
yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah, so that means you can get a 5800X3D system with a, you know, and then choose your graphics card, and you're looking at sort of 1,000, 1,100 there for something reasonable.
Yeah,
And so again, you're talking about a very respectable gaming PC at around about 1,000, 1,100,
yeah,
brand new. Again, that's not too shabby.
yeah. I think it's actually a reasonably strong position that we're in.
Yeah,
Because we've gone down from obviously the days of when it was a case of that would be a really poor performance computer just because of the graphics card prices being so high. But we
yeah,
have seen them come down quite a lot.
yeah,
Obviously, the current series, the 4000 series and the 7000 series, might not be good cost per frame comparison to the current sale prices of the previous generation. But we've obviously got to remember the fact that that previous generation has come down in price by like 75%. So it's not terrible.
yeah. Very good. All right then. Cool. Well, past that, I've enjoyed this conversation in English.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've done a
Yeah.
good job of kind of looking at all of the options, and we'll probably see next month how it compares, just in the fact of we're expecting some upsets on the GPU side.
Yes, I think that will be interesting to see. In an ideal world, I think what we might see is the current gen GPUs come down to the previous gen GPU prices that we're seeing right now. That would be awesome to see
Yeah.
that happen, just because it would mean that we can buy current gen GPUs. Whereas right now, as we've discovered that, you know, certainly if you're doing low or low to mid range, it just doesn't make sense to buy a current gen GPU. You buy previous gen
Yeah.
because it's basically the same speed and costs less.
Yeah.
So it would be really nice to see the prices come down to offset that. And hell, maybe we'll see the last couple of previous gen GPUs suddenly go really cheap while they just shift old stock.
Yeah, apparently we have years of NVIDIA 3000 series supply in warehouses.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd heard that they'd overproduced, but
yeah. Apparently we have years of oversupply, which obviously in theory points to NVIDIA basically going, there's no point in us releasing anything less than a 90 class next generation.
yeah.
Because if you want less than a 90 class, buy something we've already made. Here's a 3070.
Yeah. Also, like you said, it also infers that there's going to be quote unquote paper launches where they just make a handful of GPUs that are just always out of stock. So technically the new generation exists. You just can't buy it.
Yeah. And then you'll go, oh, I guess I'll buy a 3070 instead then, kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
But it's also the fact of, you know, to a degree, to me, I'm quite happy with that being the
yeah, I mean,
situation, because if the situation is that in December this year, January next year, we get a 5090 launch and maybe a 5080 Ti or something like that launch, and that's it.
Yeah.
it wouldn't really be a problem, and it wouldn't really change anything for most people.
Yeah, I mean, again, the previous gen graphics cards were really good. It was a great generation.
Yeah,
The 30 series graphics cards are very good. The 6000 series graphics cards are very good.
yeah,
You know, that's why they're still viable. It's not just because they're cheap; they're just good cards as well. You know.
yeah. You know, so it's kind of a case of I wouldn't really be fussed for that. And, you know, and if NVIDIA came around and launched the 5090, you know, and did the same lump from a 3090 to a 4090 they did from a 4090 to a 5090,
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy with that being 1,800 quid.
Sure.
Because, you know, if you're gaining another 50% or something like that,
Yeah, for the people who
That's
actually
ridiculous.
want the most performance money can buy, that there's no problem with that. You know, and for the people who are just like, this is ridiculous, you shouldn't have to pay that much for a graphics card, it's like, then don't. There are lots of cheaper options.
yeah.
You know.
The only thing I do hope we see is from the 5000 series from NVIDIA and from the 8000 series from AMD, is that the bottom performance card of that tier that is launched is much faster than we've seen from the
Yeah.
7600 and the 4060. Just, you know, so we can handily go, right, the bottom of the 8000 series stack is, say, 7700 XT speed
Yeah, that would be
and
nice.
is £250.
Yeah.
You know, so we see that price value massively uptick right at the bottom.
Yeah. That would also be good because when you're down at the bottom of the stack at the moment, such as the 6600 non-XT, it's that it'll work great, but you kind of want a bit more than that. Whereas if we could see something that can actually, if we can see the next bottom of the stack punch comfortably above that, then you can very confidently put the bottom of the stack card in a computer and not feel like it might not perform.
Yeah,
So,
I'd
yeah.
like to see basically next generation the very bottom spec cards push up and compress the performance on the stack, and I'll be very happy on the flip side if the 5090's performance was the same as the 4090's. Literally the same, but they managed to save 75 watts or something like that.
Yeah.
That would still be entirely viable to me, and you're just lifting everyone's performance up towards that point again.
Yeah.
Because then it means when people play, you know, things like Alan Wake 2 and stuff like that, it becomes available to more people,
Yeah.
you know.
That's right.
And
yeah.
also it means that we'll see more developers pushing actually next gen graphics stuff
Yeah.
more, just because the bottom tier of the current generation is that much more performant.
Yeah.
So you
and
know it's not going to murder zone stuff.
Chris just said as well, I want cars to be under 25 kilos again. And yeah, if we can bring the power efficiency down, because as it is, the 40 series have overspec'd coolers, which is great. However, if we can bring the power consumption down another notch, that means we can come down to the not a brick graphics cards and still
Yeah.
have great thermal performance.
I'd just
It's
like to.
the 4080 in my PC, it's a massive brick. It runs dead silent and really cool, which is awesome. But also, suddenly the fractal torrent that I've got it in, I actually need that space, which is kind of obscene. You know,
Yeah.
I love the silent cooler on it, but it is obnoxiously large.
Yeah.
And it would be awesome if we can just shrink the cards again.
Yeah, but it is also the case that I want to make sure that the 5090 8800 XT are not power limited. I want their power, you know, their TGPs to be 500 watts.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
it's the 5090,
That's
because
it.
it's the
It's the Halo
8900,
card.
whatever. I want that card to have for the moon and a quarter of a frame per watt efficiency
Yeah.
or whatever, because it's squeezing everything out. But that's the second BIOS option. That's
Yeah.
the performance plus BIOS option. The standard performance one is 295 watt.
Yeah, I think that's going to come down to whether that's going to come down to the question of, is the 4090 power limited because Nvidia are already redlining it, or because Nvidia don't want to have fun anymore? And
Because they don't want to have fun anymore.
yeah, it might, but then
The 4090 is voltage limited. It's not
Yeah.
power limited.
yeah, that's true. But then, do we know if going slightly higher on the voltage will disintegrate the core?
Don't know.
Yeah.
But
That's the thing, is that NVIDIA may be voltage limiting it so much because they know that going any higher will disintegrate the core, and they don't want people to know that. They don't want people to know that the core is actually really fragile, maybe.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I don't know, I'm speculating.
Obviously,
you know?
based off of like LN2.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, based off of LN2 overclocking and stuff, the indication would be very much no.
Okay, yeah.
But it's just a case of the voltage frequency curve. It seems like the 4090 is reasonably close to the peak of the actual payback, and you start seeing power very much not scaling with performance.
Yeah.
But it'd just be nice to see an extra 0.01, 0.02 of a volt for VCore,
Yeah.
just so you hit the power limit more often.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough.
Just because, yeah, certainly on my 4090, I am voltage limited all the time, basically all of the time in basically everything I play, but I'm only at 50 to 60% of TGP.
Yeah.
So it's a case of what's the point in the TGP being able to be that high when I'm voltage limited at only 60% of it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying is if
Yeah.
nudging up
No,
the-
I get you.
those well-built, high-spec, high TGP cards
Yeah.
should be able to push the voltage up a fraction more,
Yeah.
just so they can actually hit that 450 watts.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
stuck in low gear. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we'll see what they do. We'll see what the Super looks like, you know. If the Super comes out and has a higher voltage target, then it'll be like, oh, holding something back, were you, NVIDIA? You know.
I mean, it's also a 4080 Super,
Okay, yeah.
so it won't come close to a 4090.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're not
Intentionally.
planning a 4090 Super then.
No.
Yeah, oh, fair enough then. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Well, we'll see what that looks
Yeah.
like, I guess. All right. A couple of people said any good videos in the pipeline. Got some more. I've got some more MacBook Air stuff in the pipeline.
Best Mac repair channel on
I was
YouTube.
about to say, you know, there's quote Graham. I'm a variety content YouTube channel. I won't allow YouTube to pigeonhole me into MacBook repair. Also, I have about 5 MacBook repair videos in the pipeline. So, but also a couple of other interesting things came in. A custom build came in. Yeah, a nice custom build came in today that's got a CPU light on it. I think that's probably going to be just a reseat the CPU, but that's going to be a no post. We'll see if that looks interesting at all.
Yeah.
There's a weird looking MSI laptop that came in that probably doesn't have a fault. It just needs Windows reinstalling on it, but it's 7th gen Intel with SLI 1070s in it. And I'm like,
Right?
yeah.
What?
And I'm like, and because the customer came in with it, and I was like, why does this exist?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the writing was on the wall for SLI by the time the 10th gen came out. So why
Yeah.
does this exist? So I might make a video on that, just installing Windows on it and just seeing if it all works, and then just trying to make the SLI work and show the SLI in action. If nothing else, just as a demonstration as to why SLI is dead, kind of
Oh
thing.
God. I wonder
But
if
yeah.
I wonder if the motherboard supports like CPU upgrades, because it's actually just a desktop socket.
No idea. It looks pretty chunky. So yeah, I might make a video about that, just as here's an interesting laptop
Yeah.
that came through the door. Because also it's coming in the original box and everything, so that
That's
looks like
kinda
it
cool.
might be interesting. So
Yeah.
so
Very good.
yeah. There's a couple of things in the pipeline. We'll see. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. And yes, I will be live tomorrow on Twitch, 7 p.m. UK time. I'm playing Sonic Frontiers, Breath of the Hedgehog. So if you want to hear more of my stupid voice, then tune in to me on Twitch tomorrow. Otherwise, thank you very much. See you all next Saturday with something else.
With more things,
With more things indeed.
more stuff.
Now would be a good time to insert as bye everyone.
Goodbye.